I've been doing electrical work for 8 years.
7 years.
6 years, 23 years.
I love troubleshooting. It's one of my passions.
Electrical is all I do, unless my wife asks me to do something at home.
Together, there's nothing that we can't figure out or accomplish. We've seen it all here at Mr. Electric.
Going in with the confidence to know it doesn't matter what I'm going to run into, I'm going to figure it out, and confidently telling that customer, you know, we got you taken care of.
Mr. Electric, the power to make things better.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your boat, boat wins.
What are you going to do? Take the boat out for a spin or go mail something? Are we cleaning the patio or taking the boat out fishing? Are we skipping that eye exam to go sailing?
Rescheduling eye exams can be a nightmare.
All right, fine. Eye exam, then boat.
With Progressive, you can bundle your boat with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings on your boat. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Gain a global perspective and specialized skills that many of today's top employers are seeking with an MBA from University of Maryland Global Campus. Study online and complete your degree in just 16 months for about $21K. Choose from MBA specializations in global business, marketing, HR, finance, and more. No application fee if you apply by September 3rd. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of myself.
Fugazi, you know what Fugazi is? Fugazi, it's a fake. Yeah, Fugazi, Fugazi, it's a wazi, it's a woozy, it's a fairy dust. It doesn't exist. It's never landed. It is no matter. It's not on the elemental chart. It's not real. Right?
Not just about that.
Joey Park.
Welcome into the program. I'm your host, Joey Park. Just talking to my colleague here off there, Byron Sheehy, who decided to match today without even coordinating. How you doing? And button up blue shirts.
Oh, yeah, we did that.
Yeah, but how you doing today, man?
Doing well, man. Little hot.
Yeah, it is a little steamy outside.
Not as pleasant as it was yesterday.
Yeah, and it's going to come back. It definitely was a false fall. And just get ready to sweat, folks. That's, you signed up living here. Like, you signed up for it. Run down real quick of some of the headlines that are out there this morning. Trump floats potential Republican National Convention before midterms. Major shakeup coming. Trump and GOP plot sweeping crime crackdown across the nation. The second quarter GDP numbers, which were abysmal, have been revised up to 3.3% growth, while inflation has been revised down to 2%, only 2%, which is right on track with the Fed's traditional target. Trump's threatening to prosecute George Soros and his son. We got a Stanford study on AI and how it affects employment. 54% of voters are supporting the D.C. crackdown that Trump has initiated. And in the Minneapolis school shooter story, Robin Westman said he was, quote unquote, tired of being trans. Quote, I wish I had never brainwashed myself, end quote. That's from the New York Post. FBI investigating that shooting as a hate crime, anti-Catholic hate crime. And there is much more we can get to today. But joining us to kick off the show, as she does most Thursdays, we have Erica Thomas with 1819 News. Erica, how you doing this afternoon?
Howdy, Joey. I'm doing great. I'm so thankful that municipal elections are mostly over, other than those that are going into a runoff. But this week was wild. On Tuesday afternoon, I thought this has been a long week.
Absolutely. Now, I'd imagine you'd rather get back to the crime beat than having to do all these municipals, like, because that's a lot of small communities, but a lot of information to get on top of.
It was, and it was interesting. 1819 News, we've never really covered municipal elections, so this was our first time. I know myself, I published 19 stories Tuesday, so we were all over the place, and that was just me. Our entire team was in on the action. We were all hands on deck, writing those returns out for everyone. We wanted to do individual communities so everybody could just look up what their race was, what the results were for them, instead of having to go through these long lists of statewide. So we really went crazy. In fact, I pulled a muscle in my hand writing Tuesday.
You pulled a muscle in your hand?
Yes, which, I am known to pull muscles. I pulled a muscle once playing cornhole, but we won't talk about that. But yeah, I pulled a muscle in my hand. It's been hurting for a couple of days. Yesterday was really rough. The day after, so I'm nursing on that, trying to get that better because I don't want to stop putting out this amazing content that we have.
Now, I got to ask you a general question, because I brought this up at Jeff Poron yesterday, like usual, and I brought up a little bit with Jeff. But these mass shootings, or I want to generalize it, though, to any sort of just awful crime stories, several that I'm looking at now, whether it's child porn charges or abuse charges, like you've been doing a lot of the crime beat there at 1819 News, at least this summer. How do you deal with it emotionally? Because I admit fully, I'd rather have fun, or I'd rather kick around ideas about politics and wax poetic about whatever under the sun. But there's something about the crime stuff that just, it hurts the heart and wrenches my gut. So like, how do you sort of bolster yourself to write about all these things?
Well, you kind of have to focus on the purpose of what you're doing and really focus on getting the facts out there as soon as possible. You can't get emotional when it comes to, the job, but obviously there's an impact that you kind of deal with afterwards, and you have to just debrief yourself and talk to people who can kind of lift you up. I always go straight to the Bible. Every time I'm feeling anything, I just randomly open up my Bible, and I'm telling you, God always gives me that verse that I need to read, or that passage that's going to connect with what I'm dealing with. And I've been doing this for a while now, especially crime news and public safety issues. You have to also realize you have a purpose, and not only getting out the information, but maybe seeing what conversations we can have that will help other people. And, they always say anytime you're dealing with something, if you can help other people, that's going to help you. And that's very true. I selfishly help other people, and it ends up helping myself to kind of deal with those things.
Well, I appreciate that answer. I really do. And I find myself doing that in times of trouble. You return to scripture and return to stuff that stays true. It kind of helps ground us. We're not the first ones to go through this sort of world. Now, you have one story away from sort of the tougher ones. One that is, I think, the trending top there at 1819news.com. Hidden camera appears to show University of North Alabama official admitting nothing really changed with DEI programming. There were a lot of folks worried about this. I think I voiced some of that concern, saying the legislature can do what they want. Good luck actually controlling the universities. So what's the story here?
Yeah, so the University of North Alabama, for a while they've had what they called the Mitchell West Center for Inclusion, and out of that they address LGBTQ issues. They kind of put students into this if they needed help with that sort of thing. But something I saw interesting in my research was this program, by the way, is no longer.
Okay.
But something that they said before is that this center catered to first generation students. And so I thought that was interesting because kind of from the get-go, they're grabbing these students and saying, hey, look, DEI, DEI. And so that was interesting. Now, they did get rid of this program, but this lady that worked there, she was caught on camera saying that, well, these programs aren't really eliminated. They're just the names and the titles are changed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what we figured would happen. University of Alabama system did that anyways. They came out and basically admitted to that off the get-go. And so it's interesting to see these hidden videos. They're made by Accuracy and Media. And there was one done last week at the University of West Alabama. We have that one as well on 1819 News. And Accuracy and Media was unable to get a response from UNA. But thankfully today I have a response from UNA, and that will be published on 1819news.com at 2 p.m.
Well, and just in reading some of this quote, as you just said, this is from one of the officials there at the university. Whatever it is, it's just changed names or, whatever. So you might have to look out for those like multicultural opportunities or something along those lines that might actually be like what you're looking for. When you search up DEI, you're not going to find anything. And I was very worried about this, that they can, we're not woke anymore. We're politically correct, or we're not politically correct anymore. We care about multiculturalism and tolerance. Like there's so many different ways they can camouflage the same exact thing.
Yeah. And a lot of times people, they go into college not really aware of some of these things that these institutions have put out there. And so this is their way of kind of normalizing everything from transgender to whatever they might be focused on. And I find it interesting because I feel like these people are working off of emotions instead of logic a lot of times. If you start looking into these programs, it really pulls on the heartstrings of emotional people, or maybe people that are a little bit more weak. And so that's kind of what they've done, is they say we have a lot of people dealing with mental health issues because of whatever their issue is. And so, let's focus a little bit more on that mental health thing, because I think that ends up being the issue that does need to be addressed, but not by confirming to these people that their thoughts are accurate.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's going to be an ongoing battle in terms of the law, but I think the approach Florida has taken is like, no, you have to if you want the universities to really change, you got to put your personnel at the universities running that spot. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast. These institutions were captured long ago. They're not going to give up just because the legislature said you can't use these particular buzzwords. Shifting gears here, the AG commissioner candidate Christina Werner McInnes and her children face threats from a predator, and she herself posted about this fairly cryptically, as you say, on Facebook. What's going on here?
Yes, and she came out with this yesterday on social media, and then she held a press conference this morning. She said she had, for the last several months, her and her children were stalked and harassed by a man out of Mobile. He has since been arrested, charged, and actually sentenced to 90 days with 7 days to be served. I spoke with the Baldwin County Sheriff yesterday about this issue, and he said this is something that we're taking really seriously. Anybody, not just a political candidate, but anybody that's dealing with these sort of threats from anyone, should contact us, because we need to investigate these instances. This man was from Mobile. I believe he is a homeless man, and he apparently was targeting women who he thought were pretty, who he saw their phone numbers, maybe on a billboard or a business card. And it was multiple women. We don't have the exact number. But for McKinnis, who is now a public figure, she wanted to get ahead of this, and she did just that. And she was very thankful to have justice, and she thanked the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office, Orange Beach Police, and even the FBI who investigated this.
And the guy's name is Clayt Clark, C-L-A-T, Clayt Clark of Mobile. He allegedly created more than 27 fake profiles to target McGinnis and other women online. Ooh, man. Yeah. Just the levels of depravity. I think there are multiple levels to this, like what we saw in Minneapolis yesterday. But yeah,
and you definitely do need to take these things seriously, because they might start out just making a fake Facebook profile or messaging you. But, all serious crimes start small, and then they build up, especially with somebody that may be obsessed. We see that a lot of time with rape victims. First they were just a peeping Tom, and then they, started contacting somebody, and then eventually their crimes end up escalating into something a lot more serious.
Yeah, you had another story we covered a little bit, I think, earlier in the week. I believe it came out on a Monday or so. The one about Roblox, or I don't even know how it's said, but this old school video game. And this goes into part of the conversation I'm going to have a little later. We'll have Senator Britt here in the studio, and I know she is doing legislation on a lot of these things with online protection for kids. So what's your takeaway from this? Like, is it just more diligence on the part of the parents, or are there ways to deal with these developers? What's your sense of it?
So it's called Roblox, and it's an interesting online gaming platform. It was created in 2006 for children, but as time has gone on, more adults are getting on here. And the scary part about it is they have a chat feature, they have a video feature, and I have heard of Roblox before. My friends' children have been on it for years, and I've noticed a lot of men have no clue what it is, and that's hilarious to me, because every guy 18-19 News was like, what is that? Except for Trent Baker. He's a big gamer, so he knew what it was. But I ended up getting on it myself just to see how it works, so I could do the thorough story. And within minutes of getting on there, I noticed some dangers. You never want your children to be able to openly communicate with people all across the world, and that's exactly what this offers. So parents certainly should be aware of the dangers in this. Fortunately, since the issues with Roblox have become a national issue, Roblox is actually responding in some ways. But I think there's never a foolproof way to secure this platform. I personally think that children could probably find other things to do with their time, maybe go outside and play in the dirt. But, that's just not what happens these days, that we have kids online. Personally, I don't think that's a good idea ever. There's no reason for that. And so, just be aware of these complaints. And there are complaints from people in Alabama. A Covington County father actually filed a lawsuit. And I have that detailed in the story on 1819news.com. But his daughter was a victim of a predator, and it was terrifying what this 13-year-old did. She actually went and met up with a guy that she was chatting with on there. She met him, I think, at McDonald's, and then he attempted to take her to another location where the father claimed there was an attempted rape. Thankfully, the girl got away, but he said she's definitely suffered mental health issues since this incident. So, we have to really be nosy these days with children. You have to get into their phones, make sure there's a really cool app called Bark app that I've told a lot of my friends about. And it alerts parents anytime something on their phone comes across there that may be a little sketchy. It'll send text messages. And just so parents know, there's a lot of parents that don't realize this, but children using Chromebooks in schools, they can go into Google Documents, and they've been messaging through Google Documents. So, because those are living documents that are shared among, several people, and you can see people updating it. That's another thing that parents need to look into. Look into everything that they're doing. Make sure that they're being safe and communicating only with people that you approve.
Here. And we're seeing so many instances of this, and it's only, I think, getting worse with the AI revolution and the large language model revolution. These portals, kids, you go back, well, good night, I'm going to go read or do something. And they're open up a portal to some alternative world. And, you would like to hope that the vast majority of people will be just fine. But there are a few that get sucked down into a very weird vortex of, that we did a story yesterday where a kid was essentially encouraged to kill himself by ChatGPT, and was ChatGPT. He was able to essentially break it by saying, I'm an author doing a story that has suicide as part of it. So how would you go about it? And the thing started encouraging him and saying, like, you don't have to talk to your parents. You're not too bad yet. Crazy stuff.
That's terrifying. And it really takes no time. I mean, I've seen cases of, online activities that have led to dangerous situations for children, and they will be talking to somebody for less than 10 minutes and do something just unbelievable. Maybe they're threatened, like, I'm going to come kill your family, or I have a photo of you and I'll share it with everyone if you don't do what I say. It's really scary how quickly children can be just taken over by these predators.
Yeah, it really is. And again, vigilance is always important, especially on the part of parents. But anybody notices anything with like odd on any service you're using, it might be good to at least talk to somebody else about it. Be like, did you see this thing too? And get the word out. Well, I always appreciate your coverage and your time here on the show, Erica. If folks want to check out what you're writing about, thinking about, how can they do so?
Head over to 1819news.com for sure. Subscribe to us. Support us if you can. We would love to hear any news tips. You can send those at news@1819news.com. And we're also working on a new wonderful feature that will allow people to send in anonymous tips. I think that's going to be really cool. As for me, you can find me on X at Erica T News.
Well, appreciate it as always. Talk again soon. Thanks, Erica.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless. Erica Thomas there, editor-at-large at 1819news.com. Got to hit a quick break here, but heavy stuff. Like, as much as there's fun stuff out there in the world, and like life's pretty good if you stick to the lakes that you're used to.
Yeah. If
I was trying not to quote TLC. I'm sorry.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
Don't go chasing waterfalls, like, especially online, because like you're gonna find some weird stuff. But it seems it's going to get more and more exaggerated as the internet interacts back. This is what I mean by the AI revolution. It's not just like this passive thing that you have to search through. It will now, like, and South Park, to their credit, did the whole episode on how sycophantic, like, it just will tell you, it will blow smoke up your backside as much. You're the best, Byron. What a great idea. This is pure genius.
So supportive.
Yeah, I know. And I have to even tell Grok, like, stop blowing smoke up, like, give me a little more, and you can have it like rip you apart too. I'm like, okay, no, give something that's a little more balanced.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to get an honest reflection here.
Be the drunk Irish uncle.
Right. But as soon as, like, these things are interacting and they're built into all sorts of other aspects of that experience online, you got to wonder how weird stuff is going to get.
It's already starting to get weird.
I know.
I mean, like, that episode hit on it. When you start, and I've seen or listened to people personally do this, and it's scary as hell, man. When people start talking about having a better connection to this thing than the connections with their families or interpersonal relationships, that's alarming.
Oh yeah,
terrifying.
Oh no, because it's very it's human like, especially the voice mode where you're talking to it. It's not like the other assistants on like your iPhone or whatnot. Try not to say it, so I don't want to buzz it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just don't think that. Obviously, it's no substitute for the human connection.
Oh, sure.
And yet people are using it more and more for that as they isolate more and more, themselves, withdraw from their friends group, church, whatever.
Right. Well, and again, you have to keep in mind that these things are tools. And like, it's one thing if you're in an interactive environment where everybody around the world, the worst among us, can get on there and start talking to kids, these sorts of things. That's one problem to solve. There's another of so-called adult content that is, you don't want that in kids' face. I think even a lot of adults don't want to see adult content just randomly popping up. It's not exactly healthy for the mind or the soul. But then you start getting into the interactive, the AI portion of things, and I don't know if folks are ready.
Man, I don't think that we are. I mean, I know I'm not. From a practical standpoint, how much of it do you actually really need? Like, Eric was
Sure.
like, parents, just make sure you're, everything your kids are doing. How possible is that in today's world?
Well, and that's where you just that if you don't already have the good relationship where you have that open communication, especially with a teenager, then like that's the most important thing. Then you can get to the technical aspect where you kind of trust. It's like trusting a kid to drive. Like it's scary as hell, I'd imagine. But
I mean, from a feasible, like
eventually you're like, oh, my kid actually has a good head on their shoulders and will talk to me about stuff.
Say you were that hard-headed parent and you just said, no, you're not going to use any of that, while you're around me. All right. Well, you got to send that kid off to school, and the school's going to allow that sort of, platform assistance, and it's going to become more readily accessible as we get farther down the road.
But it is, again, it's a very useful tool. Senator Katie Britt will be here at 1:30, and I had already read up and been following some of the stuff that she's been talking about. But just for the fun of it, I said to Grok, and you have to prompt it the correct way, because I said, tell me what Katie Britt's been up to lately. But I didn't leave it there. I said the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. So I'm trying to get like the whole, like gather every different perspective and angle. And it does a beautiful job of it, providing now links immediately into like her Twitter account, to this article at AL.com, this article at Yellowhammer, this article at 1819 News, to Senate bills themselves. And like, so it gives you a little narrative. Here's a briefing, and if you want to dive deeper, you just click on the link. Pretty awesome stuff.
Like, that's how I think it should be used, as a fact finder, go pull information for me. But as far as analysis and what you should do with this information, that's where I think it gets dangerous.
Yes.
I'm not going to ask a computer program, how should I take this information and apply it to my life?
No. And if you're like a professional, like you need to double check what it throws at you, because they do still hallucinate, as we've seen in courtrooms in particular in the last few years.
That echo chamber is hilarious whenever it gets on sort of the bad information and kind of filters through that. The results can be funny.
Well, we got to hit this break here, but first, this part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And they're at the Goodson Group. Bo and his team are ready to help you, whether you're looking to buy or sell property here in the River Region real estate market. And not only buying and selling your property, they have management services available should you want to rent out your home. Great idea in this market, especially with all the turnover at the Air Force Base, and just in general, it's a great idea in this market. And then, of course, the crown jewel there at the Goodson Group is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed and accredited real estate programs in the state of Alabama, I think mostly because of Bo's 50 years of experience. So y'all check them out today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call direct at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group, great sponsor here of the program. Yeah, folks, if you're wondering, Eddie is not going to be here today. You know what he's up to.
Always be closing.
Right?
Always be closing.
But we'll figure it out as we go along. Be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Here at Adams Drugs, we let our customers do the talking. I'm here with Ronnie Taunton, who was a longtime customer of Adams Drugs, moved away for 3 years, and came back to town recently. Ronnie, what did you do for another pharmacy when you moved out of town?
When we moved to Fairhope, we were looking for a local. We did not want to go to a big box store. And we did find one, but the service was not up to par. Adams Drug really spoiled us.
What was it like to come back to Adams Drugs again?
It was very easy. We picked up the phone when we got back, came up to Prattville and called the branch there in Prattville, and they took that phone call and did the rest of it. We didn't have to do a thing. It was very simple. We're glad to be back with them. They're so efficient and customer service oriented.
Come in to any of our 12 Adams Drugs locations. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net to find the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton with the Good Feet Store. And have you tried the over-the-counter products for your foot pain and nothing seems to work? If that's you, it's time to check out the Good Feet Store. Stop the pain that's stopping you. Visit goodfeet.com to book your appointment today, or just stop by the store nearest you.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Non-alcoholic beverages are taking off. Retail sales of alcohol-free wine, beer, and spirits surged to $823 million last year. The U.S. economy rebounded 3.3% economic growth April through June. Applications for unemployment benefits fell last week compared to the week before. Japan's top trade negotiator has abruptly called off a visit to Washington aimed at issuing a joint statement on a tariff deal. A government spokesman says the trade envoy canceled the trip because some details require further discussion. New Jersey's American Dream Mall in Paramus is being sued for allowing retail sales on Sundays in violation of local blue laws. Those laws prohibit the sale of non-essential items. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Rich Thomas weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our beautiful, comfortable pattern continues for at least one more day today. Expect a sun and cloud mix with that comfortable humidity and a high temperature up to about 86. Dry through the evening hours tonight, but clouds will be on the increase and the risk of rain and thunderstorm holding off till the overnight hours late tonight, and then wet at times on Friday with a low tonight 66. Friday's high up to about 82. Then for the Labor Day weekend, spotty, random, scattered showers and storms, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. Hit or miss. Daytime highs in the mid-80s, lows at night in the 60s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Whether you're buying a home or auto or consolidating debt, CB&S Bank's personal loans get you where you need to go. Go to cbsbank.com to find a location near you or apply online today. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. So let's do some of the top news stories. Economic news. Good news came out this morning. I'll go to, I believe this was Rick Santelli on CNBC. Let's listen into his breakdown of this.
3% was our last look. It now jumps up to 3.3%.
That's GDP.
But from a comp basis, that would still be the best quarter since September of 23, third quarter of 23. Consumption, always important in a consumption economy. It remains strong. 1.4, our first look. 1.6, our modified look. 1.6 will be the best consumption since the last quarter of 24, when it was well above. It was at 4%. Now, the pricing index, maybe this has more relevance considering all the issues of the day the press is on with the Fed. Well, it remains at 2%. No changes there. 3% was our last look. It now jumps up to 3.3%.
Gotta like that. Seeing the revisions go in the right directions, whether you want it to go down with inflation or up with GDP. So that is some good news. And my big wonder is as I was asking Austin Branco yesterday, have we actually calibrated the plane to land this daggum thing and have a big birthday bash next year? That's the question. And it is a balancing act. It's like, okay, you raise the tariffs. Are we going to start seeing more of that price shock, especially on the retail side for the consumer? Because a lot of these big retailers were able to get a bunch of stuff, like I think bonded warehouses is the concept, or like we're able to get a lot of their inputs into the country before the tariffs took effect, and they won't immediately dump them on people, as Austin was saying yesterday. But that could stair step up. But the Trump administration was expecting it. That's why they did the no tax on tips, the no tax Social Security overtime, the huge child care tax credit. I think there's one program that get up to $7,500 just a deduction, which is just fantastic. But the idea should be, okay, if we're raising revenue with the tariff and you have the other effects of the tariffs, like maybe you protect certain industries in Alabama that we're having a hard time, like the cabinet industry or something like that. But then that tariff is, at the end of the day, a tax raise. So if you're going to raise taxes there, you need to, I think, cut taxes more than you raise them on the income side, especially for middle class and working class folks. And I wonder, did they cut taxes enough for middle class and working class folks? Maybe with all the different credits, all the little different carve outs. Yes, we did enough, but I always would like more in that regard.
And there's the caveat, we got to see how the balance between the federal and the state, how that kind of gets offset. And if any of those burdens are shifted from federal tax obligations to state.
Right.
We're not out of the clear just if the feds.
Well, and also you need an economic boom. You need that manufacturing investment. You need the AI boom to keep going. It's, in my read of it as a layman, NVIDIA's numbers came out and the boom's not over yet. They're not amazing, but they're also like, the idea that the AI boom is done, I think is wrong. I could eat those words, but I think there's more investment in that regard coming.
I mean, I can't really speak to how large of a boom, but it seems like we've been living in a boom for quite a while. So I'll be in the camp and just give me some long, secure, steady, sound growth.
Well, and the metric I would look at that isn't going to be the sexy headline number, but it is a good metric for understanding how the average American is doing is where are real wages?
Mm-hmm.
If real wages are growing, and that's accounting for inflation, folks, like how much are you actually, after everything else is said and done, taking home? Are you taking home more? Are you taking home less? That is going to be crucial. Are you beating the pace of inflation with that growth? Are you actually getting people getting entry-level jobs that are already a stair step up in income compared to working that retail job or being the cashier somewhere? If you say get an entry level position at some new factory, opening up. So there's a lot of dynamics to this. I just wonder, did we actually get the cocktail right, mixed it up right with the big, beautiful bill?
I don't know if we really have a choice as to whether we got it right. I don't want to include tariffs on anything too short term, just because I think that it's going to take longer for the true effects to be felt of that. I totally expect it to be a boom for us. Like we were at a disadvantage, and I can't believe it took as long as it did to address those. So thanks, Mr. President, for doing what others neglected to do.
Yeah.
But I don't think the positives are going to be able to be felt from that too soon.
And you might notice, folks, that I'm not immediately jumping into the fight over this shooting at the Catholic school there in Minneapolis, because I don't know, maybe I'm just weak, or what I like to think is like it doesn't bring those kids back. The yelling and screaming, the posturing on cable news. I think there is a very real issue, not only with mental illness, but with evil. And I think in our comfortable lives, even a lot of us working our tails off have pretty comfortable lives. In our comfortable lives, I suspect we've forgotten what evil actually can be and what it looks like, how it develops. And because in some ways we've pathologized it, like, well, we can treat it. We have a medical fix to that. But in other ways, we're able to also just silo it off. Like, put that away.
I think the latter is more where a lot of people are. So long as it's not something that directly impacts them, they can compartmentalize it and go on about their day, man.
So the other story is this big crackdown in D.C. 54% of voters, or it's a 53%, it depends on the poll, I suppose, but more than a majority of voters say Trump's DC crime crackdown is justified after they feel unsafe. This is a Harvard-Harris poll. 54% of registered voters said the crime-fighting efforts in the nation's capital are justified and necessary. And on top of that, you got an amazing endorsement. One I did not expect. This is the mayor of Washington, D.C., Muriel Bowser. Listen into this clip.
We greatly appreciate the surge of officers that enhance what MPD has been able to do in this city. The most significant thing that we are highlighting today is the area of crime that was most troubling for us in 2023. Now, we have driven it down over the last years, but I'm going to get my glasses so I can make sure I can see it correctly.
Listen to this.
But for carjackings, the difference between this period, this 20-day period of this federal surge and last year represents a 87% reduction in carjackings in Washington, D.C. We know that when carjackings go down, when use of gun goes down, when homicide or robbery go down, neighborhoods feel safer and are safer. So this surge has been important to us for that reason.
Wow.
You think she might be trying to avoid that scandal that's brewing under with that police chief or the
with them cooking the books?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she's got real practical, real fast. But also, like, you often hear people say crime is down and they'll be like 20% or even 30%. And you're looking at, especially like a small town like Montgomery, we're talking, okay, there's like a 20 less instances of that particular thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, especially a smaller area, I want just the total numbers, right? But when you say 87% down in the same time period from last year, that's remarkable. Remarkable. And to have the Democrat mayor of D.C. saying this has been very important to us. This has worked.
The 54% of people who supported the voters, was that a nationwide sample or was that from D.C.?
Nationwide.
Okay.
Yeah. Nationwide. And J.D. Vance saying this town averaged one murder every other day for the last 20 to 30 years, which means in 2 short weeks, the president and his team have saved 6 or 7 lives, people who had been killed on the streets of D.C. That's from the vice president. He goes on to say those individuals are now living, breathing, spending time with their families because the president had the willpower to say no more. We're not going to give the streets of D.C. over to vagrants and robbers and murderers. Judge Janine Pirro, who I always wonder, like when you see these Fox personalities, looks like Hegseth is doing a great job, especially with recruiting. And I remember asking Judge Napolitano, who knows Pirro from his work at Fox News, and he immediately said, oh, no, she's a very serious person. Like, you do not want to be on the wrong side of Janine Pirro. Like, she was a U.S. attorney. She was a serious judge. Like, don't mess with that woman. She's out there saying the deterrent effect. She's right now the U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia. The deterrent effect of all that's going on as a result of the president's move to make D.C. safe and beautiful is literally changing the safety landscape of Washington. 54% of respondents also support the president declaring a crime emergency in the nation's capital, and 56% believe the average big city in the United States is quote-unquote unsafe. According to the survey, again, this is Harris and Harvard. This is not exactly Rasmussen or some Republican-friendly outlet. A slight majority of registered voters, 51%, said Trump's deployment of National Guard units to Washington would make the city more safe. The pollster also found the Trump administration's efforts received strong support among independents, with 47% of that cohort backing Trump's actions to reduce crime. And that's the thing. The biggest drop after the whole Epstein dust-up was independents.
Mm-hmm.
And I think by focusing back on practical issues that everybody can think about and go, oh, yeah, that makes a little sense, is actually delivering. But robberies have declined by 42%. Carjackings, 85%, it says here, but you just heard the mayor say 87%. This is according to stats released by the D.C. Police Union earlier in the week. The union has notably backed the president's takeover of this. And they're continuing to arrest all sorts of folks, too. Like another Trinde Aragua member was arrested. So
I think we got to be careful and define what would constitute a crime emergency.
Sure. I agree with you. Like, for instance, like the only time I remember in my memory where deploying the troops to the streets actually freaked me out, because most of the time it's like a riot's going on and buildings are being, send down the National Guard, dadgummit. Like, that's the reason we have police and the guard.
Mm-hmm.
But the one time where I'm like, this is over the top is after the Boston Marathon bombing.
Yeah.
When they were going in people's houses and like that was some hardcore armored vehicles out there. That one made me go, ooh, that's over the top. And I know they're trying to chase these guys and try to find these guys who just bombed the event, but it was so over the top in terms of it was like martial law in the streets.
Right.
And having the guard there as with a presence, supplementing the local PD, that is not the same thing as martial law by any means. I think you're going to see more of this. I think you're going to see more of this, even if governors and local authorities don't agree. I think you're still going to get National Guard that will be embedded with ICE agents. And then Trump is clearly making the argument publicly and really weighing down on some of these governors. No, let me come on in and do this thing. And they might watch. One of them is going to get smart and is going to be like, yep, come on in.
Yeah. All right. So it's baffled me that Democrats, the party of let's grow government more and more, or traditionally let's grow government more and more and more.
Right.
Doesn't see sort of the opportunity to be like, yeah, we need to raise taxes because we don't have enough taxes for proper law enforcement.
Right.
But they were so married to this defund the police idiocracy. And I mean, the effects they felt during the election. So you're right. Whenever one of them gets smart and actually embraces law and order and kind of leans into it a little bit and providing safety for their citizens, they might actually have a little bit better fortune on election day. And that kind of scares me. I hope they are dumb enough to stay wandering over, on the wrong side of this issue. But the practical nature at hand, they're going to have to face facts and they're going to get right on it at some point. And it seems like she may be the canary in the coal mine that's kind of starting to sing.
Well, we saw this in a small way when the crime suppression unit was created here in Montgomery.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were quiet about it. And then after some success, they said, no, we've been doing this cooperation with the state, the county, and the city. And it has worked very well. It tamped down on a lot. They've seized a lot of weapons, a lot of arrests. So if you just have a focus and the impetus, the will to do these things, you can get it done.
The deterrent factor, if you actually have a unit in place that can handle the crime, the criminals don't commit the acts. I mean,
because as dumb as some criminals can be, they're not that dumb. Like when they see a lot of force levels out, people are more serious and they're not going to mess around as much.
Right.
I mean, they might still try to do criminal stuff, but they won't do it as often. They'll pick their spots.
When you have a real leadership that actually supports law and order, you have positive results.
This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. Maybe that's what we just need nationwide, like a testosterone boost nationwide. It seems like that's what Trump's been doing, just giving a shot in the arm to the nation or a shot in the behind. But gentlemen, if you're feeling tired, sluggish, just not like yourself, bad sleep patterns, like you're really not getting much rest when you lay your head down on the pillow at night. You're never in the mood. No sex drive or libido to speak of, which is no fun at all, brother. No fun at all. Also, just in a fog. And maybe that has something to do with you not sleeping too. But like you're in a fog, you're just always dog tired. Well, the possibility that it could be low testosterone is very high. If you want to get checked out, be sure to check your testosterone levels there at Montgomery Men's Health. At the urologists and providers there will tailor solutions specifically to your body and goals. It's not just testosterone treatments, ED treatments, and other performance issues, many other options that men don't even know exist. So maybe you got an issue you think's unique. No, pretty much know about it there at Montgomery Men's Health. And it's not just guys getting older in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. There are a lot of guys walking around, RFK Jr.'s made this point, in their 20s and 30s, who have less testosterone than their 80-year-old grandfather.
Won't know unless you go get checked.
Right. So get by there, young man, if you are not feeling good. You should be at your age. That number for Montgomery Men's Health, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or visit MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
Want to carry news talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, I'm Paul Doe. Me and my wife Jessica own the Seafood Bistro over here in Perry Hill and Carmichael. We've been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting for going on 3 years now. It has been a great turnout. It's been a pleasure partnering with a local company like Blue Water. And if you have your own business, I suggest teaming up with a partner like Blue Water Broadcasting. It's a local company that helps local businesses.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the River region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Looking for insurance, or maybe you're just not satisfied with your current carrier? How does quality coverage with local service and competitive rates sound to you? The folks at Stark Agency offer just that. Whether you need insurance for your business, car, home, or life, Stark Agency can help. As an independent insurance agency with over 20 of the top insurance carriers, Stark is sure to find the perfect match for you and your loved ones. Visit their site at starkagency.com or give them a call at 334-263-5535 for a quote today. We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back, folks. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the program. That's 334-272-9228. I am sorry to report, because I know a lot of y'all really care about this, but I'll get to it, I guess, begrudgingly. I'm not a big fan of all this stuff, but I know a lot of people out here listening in Central Alabama are really big fans, always waiting with bated breath for the latest when it comes to Burning Man.
This is not 48 hours old, man. I showed you this Tuesday.
I'm doing a bit.
All right, my bad.
This is how far I am behind on this. And I know, and your fingers on the pulse of the river region. I get it. Everybody cares about Burning Man. But apparently there's a big issue there at Burning Man with the weather and storms rolling through. And what is the name of that tent they set up there? What's that sign say? Is that Orgy Dome?
I thought that was origami.
No, I don't think it's this is the origami tent. You're like, nope.
Does that say God works mysterious ways?
Yeah, but the wind blew over all those rich liberal folks' orgy dome tent.
I thought it got set on fire by a lightning strike.
Oh my God. Yeah, maybe God was just done playing.
Yeah, that's what I was like. Yeah,
God ain't playing, folks. Yeah, like, let's see.
That's not the image I saw. The one I saw was like a wooden structure.
No, this one was just really because of that storm, strong winds. It won't be reopening. Burning Man's infamous orgy dome is demolished by strong winds. Won't be reopening, with organizers saying it's beyond repair. No way we can set back up the orgy dome with the amount of time we have left in the festival. Unfortunately, the winds yesterday undid all our labor and wrecked our structure, the group said on Instagram. God said, not today, Satan.
Where? I'm sorry, man.
I'm pretty open-minded. I don't want to go to your orgy dome.
It's just funny to me that a bunch of liberals in the desert whacked out of their minds. So new age hippies in the desert, their structure wasn't, soundly built.
Well, and honestly, like, Burning Man gets this reputation. Burning Man could probably be cool. It might be a fun thing to do. But, like, there are a lot of folks who go there, don't go to the orgy dome.
I don't even know really what it is. Like,
no, it's like if you're rich and you're cool and you're liberal, all this stuff. Like, you don't necessarily have to be that liberal in your politics. You usually are, though. But if you're rich and you're cool, creative type, whatever, you go just camp.
I thought that was Coachella.
Coachella, you're not that cool.
Okay.
But you know what I mean? It's just like a big, let's set up camp in the desert. And because we got the money and the technology, we can do all sorts of crazy stuff. And if you are into drugs and sex and stuff, we can do that. Or if you're just looking for a great time in the desert, you can do that. Having fun, meeting up with like-minded people that are also adventurous like you are. Yeah, the whole thing. Anyway.
The Tetbo, bro,
Yes.
VIP package.
We're over here in the microdosing pen. We're not seeing anything, but we feel good and focused. This is part of the program brought to you by James Cole and Cole Plumbing. And they're at Cole Plumbing, James and the team, ready to help you with any and all of your plumbing issues, from small problems like a faucet that just keeps dripping. No fun having a drippy faucet. Or maybe that toilet keeps running. Maybe the garbage disposal's broke, clogged drains in the kitchen or the bathroom, wherever they are. They can help you with all that. But maybe you got a big issue like a gas line leak, which is dangerous. You should evacuate and call Cole Plumbing immediately. Or a huge water line leak inside or outside your home. Cole Plumbing has the technology to fix that for you with minimal discomfort to you and your home without tearing out a bunch of drywall or digging up a huge hole in your yard. No, they can do it with precision and expertise. Call them up today at 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole.
We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. France, Germany, and the United Kingdom have started a process to reimpose UN sanctions on Iran over its nuclear program. The mechanism, known as snapback, could freeze Iranian assets abroad, halt arms deals, and put renewed sanctions on its ballistic missile program. Authorities say a mass Russian drone and missile attack on Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, has killed at least 18 people and wounded up to 48. Authorities are still trying to determine a motive in Wednesday's Catholic school shooting in Minneapolis. 2 children died, 17 were injured. The shooting being investigated as an act of domestic terrorism and hate crime targeting Catholics. On Wall Street, stocks are modestly higher. The Dow up 8 points, the Nasdaq adding 110. This is SRN News.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month. But what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia. I got a tour of their headquarters. I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, a wireless company that actually stands for
Rich
something.
Thomas Weather is brought to you by McPhillips Schimbaum.
My name is Aaron Luck, a partner with the law firm of McPhillips Schimbaum. If you or someone in your family has been seriously injured by the negligence of someone else, call me directly.
262-1911. Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our beautiful, comfortable pattern continues for at least one more day today. Expect a sun and cloud mix with that comfortable humidity and a high temperature up to about 86. Dry through the evening hours tonight, but clouds will be on the increase and the risk of rain and thunderstorm holding off till the overnight hours late tonight, and then wet at times on Friday with a low tonight 66. Friday's high up to about 82. Then for the Labor Day weekend, spotty, random, scattered showers and storms, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. Hit or miss. Daytime highs in the mid-80s, lows at night in the 60s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASE loan payment from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. YourASECreditUnion.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Lender.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your cause, your ASE.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. A substitute teacher with Montgomery Public Schools is facing child sex-related charges. 21-year-old Jalen Bray of Montgomery is charged with 3 counts of child sexual abuse. Bray allegedly kissed and touched a child inappropriately when he was a substitute teacher at an MPS elementary school. The name of the school was not released. A sixth suspect was arrested Wednesday in connection to a 2024 Atlanta highway shooting that left a woman paralyzed. Chelsea Jackson has been charged with first-degree assault and discharging a firearm into an occupied vehicle. Amy Dix was stopped at a light on Atlanta Highway when she was caught in the crossfire of a gunfight, leaving her paralyzed from the waist down. Montgomery police have arrested a suspect in a fatal weekend shooting. The incident happened just after midnight Saturday in the 5,000 block of Carmichael Road, where 28-year-old Demora Dill Driver was shot and killed. 37-year-old Rodarius Dortch was arrested Wednesday and charged with capital murder in the case. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Sell your house the easy way. Call Rapid Fire Home Buyers today.
Do you have real estate problems? Whether you're facing foreclosure, inherited a property, or have costly repairs, we understand. At Rapid Fire Home Buyers, we're here to help. Any condition, any situation, we'll give you an honest cash offer for your home so you can move forward. We've dealt with more real estate problems than anyone else in the River region. If you're dealing with foreclosure, major repairs, or having trouble selling your home, we will buy your house today. We've worked with hundreds of homeowners in the River region. It's easy to get started. Just call 334-675-1000 to claim your cash offer today. That's 334-675-1000. Because when real estate problems cause uncertainty, you deserve a solution you can trust. Any condition, any situation, we're here to help. Call 334-675-1000 to claim your cash offer for your house.
Sell your house the easy way. Call Rapid Fire Home Buyers today.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Welcome back. So yesterday, we ran with a story that both Senator Britt and Senator Tuberville were urging Fox and YouTube TV to come up with an agreement ahead of Auburn's Friday season opener. That's right. Auburn is the big game on Friday. What is Baylor? At Baylor.
Yep.
And apparently the Google and Fox come up with an agreement, so it was potentially like at home we have YouTube TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be blacked out.
Yep.
Thank God, crisis averted. They came up with a short-term deal.
Really?
Yeah, they, like last second, I think it happened last night or this morning. Came up with a short-term deal to stave off like a big old headache. Oh my God, you would have seen some hell raised if they had not actually figured that out.
It sounds like they didn't let the consumers vote with their subscription fees.
Right.
They avoided that little problem. Smart move.
How do you feel about Auburn this year?
Same way I feel about them every year.
I am asking the wrong guy.
Yeah. Let me check the bottom of my shoe.
You bammer.
No, you guys, y'all should go, 8-5, something like that.
Yeah, at least. Yeah, at least. I think actually it'll be a big test with Baylor. Kind of just like, well, let's see how good we are this year. Get a little reprieve with Ball State, South Alabama, but then the stretch of at Oklahoma, at Texas A&M, Georgia at home, Missouri at home, at Arkansas, Kentucky, Vanderbilt gets a little easier. Then we have Bama, of course, after Mercer. But that 3-game stretch of Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Georgia, ugh.
I actually like you guys against Oklahoma.
Think so? Mm-hmm. Yeah, hopeful. And like I've been saying the other day, I'm not into college football, and I think the way a lot of folks are. And that's just from being removed from playing the game actually in high school and actually going to school there at Auburn. Yeah, and I used to get on to my dad, like, why don't you care about this? This is important, dadgummit. And now I'm getting up there into my mid to late 30s, and I'm like, yeah, I'd rather watch this interesting discussion about the apocryphal gospels. Like, I don't know. I'm become odd. I admit it.
I mean, the days of letting 19 and 20-year-old, dudes determine, how enjoyable my Saturday is going to be. Those are far gone.
Well, and I suspect if I made a crap load of money, which I'm doing all right, but crap load of money, enough to like go and join the RV city that gets put up every Saturday when Auburn's in town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that might be fun to do because it's about, oh, this is my spot and I see the usual folks around me and family comes in, friends come in. Then you probably just sit there and watch the game from a big old TV outside the stadium.
Oh, man,
that's not bad.
This is the official start of the holiday season for Southern Moon.
Oh, they love it. And all the toys they have.
I mean,
I'm a little jealous.
Just the camaraderie. You don't have to go to the RV, campground. We can go fire at the barbecue pit in the backyard, man.
Oh, sure. Yeah. But there is something about whether Tuscaloosa is the same way. It's like you got to prepare yourself, especially the older I've gotten. I'm like, I have to prepare myself to go to the quad if I'm in Tuscaloosa. Because, man, I remember some stories when I was in college. That place was a little too much for me. Like, daggum.
It's not for the faint of heart.
But yeah, that's a fun thing. And you're right. That's such a Southern thing. It's such an Alabama thing. Like the holiday season has begun. We got football to watch.
It's a cultural thing.
It is 100%. Where do you think that comes from?
Probably Reconstruction and the South always, being told that they're not good enough.
Yep.
It almost seems like whenever Bama beat, who was it out in the Rose Bowl back in the day? Was it Washington?
Mm-hmm. You're more the Bama fan.
I think it was Washington. May not have been. But it seems like that was like, okay. So,
and it would have been like Bama against Notre Dame. Like in Nebraska was big back then. Miami was good.
It would have been one of the like premier national guys. And, Southern schools just, might have been Michigan. Like we just weren't on the same stage according to the national writers. Right. And Bama went out there and, showed them what Southern boys can do.
And we don't really have pro sports around here.
Well, that's changed. I mean,
a little bit.
If you go back and look at it's weird, like the Cowboys alone are the reason why there weren't very many Southern sports.
Because everybody loved the Cowboys.
Well, that and the owner of the Cowboys wanted to keep the market share. He didn't want any competition. So that's
he wanted to be America's team, truly. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, outside of the Saints, the Bucks, I mean, we got the Jags,
Falcons,
and the Panthers. Yeah. I mean, Titans, they moved from the Oilers.
I guess I'm still a Buccaneers fan. I'll probably draft Baker Mayfield as my QB in fantasy just to I'm not trying to win. I'm just, it's fun. It's always the roll of the dice of the fantasy league.
Just having something to hang out with the guys, it's good, clean fun. And
y'all invited me to y'all's, but I've got an old one that's a bunch of high school buddies, a couple people from college, and I'm now consulting my brother. He knows more of the personnel these days, but yeah, it is fun to just jaw around and be like,
I mean, the guys who make up our league range from federal prosecutors down to local tattoo artists. I mean, we have a cross section of Cloverdale in our league. It's fun, man.
So, crisis averted. You'll be able to watch Auburn against Baylor there on YouTube TV, and I know a lot of people have just moved to that. A lot of your places like Charter and Wow and all these, they've moved to just get YouTube TV and get internet service.
I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the streaming services now, if you get everything that you need or want, it's as much as
as a big cable package.
But there was that moment, like I can remember there was a world championship prize fight that was shown for free on YouTube, and it was the first free sporting event of championship pay-per-view level that was shown for free. I mean, that was around, I think, 16.
Oh, and now more and more live events on Netflix. Yeah, you're seeing it change slowly but surely. The trick is like, don't just get cancel your subscription for the apps you don't use. And if something comes out, you just re-up it for a month or two, then get rid of it again. Like if you just get on autopilot, you are paying essentially the cable price that, the $100+ a month.
And most people fall into that trap of, they'll do the free trial and just forget about it. And then they check their debit card or bank statement. And you got about a $75, $80 charge if you don't remember.
Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this? Okay. I guess they're not there. Never mind then. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Staying away from the politics for a second. Did you see what Florida's doing to deal with their python problem?
I want to say I have, but I can't remember. Was it they release other predators, or was it more just blowing them up?
They are not bringing in other actual animals at all. They are bringing in that's on your screen right now.
I don't trust it.
You don't trust it. Well, describe to folks who are out there just listening. What are you looking at here?
It's pretty ferocious looking. It's got fangs.
Reminds me of that scene in Monty Python, where they had to use the holy hand grenade.
Yeah.
No, but Florida is unleashing $4,000 ROBO-BUNNIES to trap pythons. They've dropped 120 robot rabbits into the Everglades, solar-powered decoys that hop, radiate heat, and even smell like real marsh rabbits. Hidden cameras ping researchers when a python slithers in, expecting dinner, but finding a sting operation. The snakes have wiped out 95% of small mammals and can get up to 20 feet. By the way, there's definitely a python out there in the Everglades bigger than 20 feet.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, because those are the ones you found.
Yeah.
Like the ones you don't find get bigger and bigger.
I think what's the largest ever recorded? About 38?
It would have to be, an anaconda or something like that in the Amazon.
Yeah.
Which are, I watched some clip. It was some Nat Geo thing where they jump in and swim with an anaconda. And they're like, if you know what you're doing, you shouldn't have a problem. They don't really want to go after you. You're too big.
No.
I'm like, no, and especially seeing the HD cameras and they're like touching the back of this thing. I'm like, that is a dragon. That is a dragon in the water. Get out of the water.
If you know what you're doing, you don't get in the water.
Yeah, and so I like this. Instead of having to release more animals and that could mess up the ecosystem, just throw out some fake robot rabbits and collect the pythons that way.
What happened to just like getting in a helicopter with a high-powered rifle and just shooting them from above?
You got to find them first. They're sneaky.
They're
sneaky, slithering here or there in the grass and the
tiny.
water. Yeah,
very tiny.
What do you think of like folks that get a python as a pet? Snakes as a pet.
I don't date chicks that have reptiles as pets. It's
a good rule of thumb.
If it doesn't have fur, it shouldn't be a pet. Fish are not pets.
And you know what happens, by the way, with the chicks who get the snake? Some of them, instead of feeding them like live mice, they can't bring themselves to do it. So now they have like a mouse as a pet, and they figured out how to do the frozen thing with the snake.
Or they don't figure that out, and they have a pet mouse, and the snake dies.
Yeah, that too.
And that didn't really happen in a personal experience.
Yeah, snakes trigger something in the base of my brain. Even like I've held a snake before, and it is cool. Like especially the ones where this thing isn't disturbed, it's not going to bite me, it's not dangerous really. But it's still, even those situations, I'm like, there's something like I don't like this. Get it away from me.
It's against our instincts from a genetic sense. Like things without legs should not be able to move around.
And then I saw a clip. It's like, the micromodal, like the blankets that are kind of thick. It's almost like that very smooth fabric. It you would know as soon as you felt it what I'm talking about. It's not like a normal cotton blanket or quilt or
like
something.
The heavy blanket?
Yeah, it's not even that heavy. But the heavy blankets have that as a liner on the outside.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, like that very soft plush but synthetic micro fabric. Apparently snakes can't get traction on those things.
Really?
So they'll try to move like they normally do with the slither, and they'll just be in one spot, and you can see the pattern of the body and how they actually move. It might go to the side a little bit or something, but they can't get traction on that particular fabric.
Take that, Satan.
Yeah. So if you know.
Ooh, speaking of Satan, I almost stepped on a wasp that was about the size of a quarter.
Really?
Yeah, coming out of one of those holes where they burrow into the ground. You've seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gnarly, man.
I don't know. The wasp are after me.
Might have been glowing a little bit. It might have been one of those radioactive
wasp. Yeah. Well, spend too much time in the sun. Hey, this part of the program brought to you by Dylan Rings, and their Dylan Rings are ready to help you with your jewelry needs. Of course, they have a great selection there. Anything you might be able to imagine, or if they don't have that one thing that you've imagined that's truly unique, you can get custom design work done by Josh Ryder. The man is truly an artist. Absolutely incredible at what he does. Now, it's Wedding Wednesday Spotlight when I'm looking at Dylan Ring's Facebook page saying timeless elegance never goes out of style. It's a 14-karat yellow gold antique wedding band for just $800. Absolutely beautiful piece. Only $800. Start forever with a classic piece that's as meaningful as your love. Get by Dylan Rings today. That's 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell Josh that Joey and Byron, those fellas on the radio, sent you. We'll tell you a little more about Dylan Rings coming up a little later in the program. Yeah, in fact, we got some folks saying they're cracking up. If it doesn't have fur, it shouldn't be a pet. That's a good rule of thumb, I think.
I do too.
It's a very good rule of thumb. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
It's Fred.
Hey, Fred. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Isn't that Master Thespian with you?
No, it's Byron Sheehy.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Master Thespian because a minute ago I heard what he talked about. He didn't date girls that dated snakes. And I know Master Thespian. I think so. He better get a good gift to go home today. Because if his wife heard that, she's going to cut him off to me. He's talking about having a girlfriend.
No, this is not. I'm not trying to get Master Thespian in trouble. This is Byron Sheehy.
Not Master Thespian.
Okay.
Mrs. Thespian.
All right. Well, y'all have a good. I just saw that and I said, "Oh, I got to bust his chops a little bit." So anyway, sorry.
Well,
have a great day.
Appreciate it, Fred.
No wife. No Thespian.
Yeah, like dogs cool, cats cool, even like guinea pigs cool.
I can.
Rabbits are all right.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right.
What?
Even have you seen the little like sugar glider things? Those little creatures that fly around and stuff. Cute little things. Yeah, those are fine.
What are you going to do with an iguana besides make some boots or a bed out of it?
I don't like iguanas. I don't like lizards of any type. I don't like snakes. I agree with you.
I'm sorry, birds, just alarm clocks.
You don't like birds?
No, I mean they're alarm clocks.
Well, they're not really birds either. There's that aspect.
Yeah.
They've been spying on us for a long, long time. Oh, birds, I mean, freaking smart and live forever. You want a lifelong pet and you're willing to put up with taking care of a bird. Yeah, that could be a great companion.
Okay, so maybe a toucan, a raven, one of the larger, more intelligent, but the parakeets, nah, bro.
You're just not into that?
Too many seeds and everything coming out of the birdhouse. You got to change the liner all the time.
Right.
And what joy do you get other than the noise? I can go outside and listen to birds. I don't need them in my house.
Now, shifting gears here, there's a study out of Stanford saying AI adoption linked to a 13% decline in jobs for young U.S. workers. That's not good. Growing evidence that the widespread adoption of generative AI is impacting the job prospects of American workers, according to this paper released by Stanford University researchers. The study analyzed payroll records from millions of American workers. The report found, quote, early large-scale evidence consistent with the hypothesis that the AI revolution is beginning to have a significant and disproportionate impact on entry-level workers in the American labor market. Most notably, the findings reveal that workers between the ages of 22 and 25 in jobs most exposed to AI, such as customer service, accounting, and software development, have seen a 13% decline in employment since 2022. By contrast, employment for more experienced workers in the same fields and for workers of all ages and less exposed occupations, such as nursing aides, has stayed steady or grown. Jobs for young health aides, for example, rose faster than their older counterparts. Frontline production and operations supervisor roles also showed an increase in employment for young workers, though this growth was smaller than that for workers over the age of 35. So actually, that's not that bad.
I mean,
that's not that bad considering how much it has been adopted so far.
Markets are going to cleanse themselves, we hope, if they're, free. And that number isn't that bad. I really wish that our lower or our high schools and junior college systems would be more honest about what fields are going to be available.
Sure.
Well, and I don't think we made that connection.
A lot of people, I think, don't even know. It's so new that I don't think folks know fully.
But how are we still going to, at the same rate, if not at a greater rate, try to funnel more kids into higher education and not really have an idea of where they're going to end up, but they're going to be saddled with debt? Like, it's not very
well. And here's the thing: young workers were said to be especially vulnerable because AI can replace codified knowledge or "quote unquote" book learning that comes from formal education. Yep.
Yeah.
100% true. Like everything you ever want to reference. Now you need to have some of that intelligence, that knowledge yourself, so you can actually double check this thing and not become reliant on it too much. But when you do have a reference tool that's very quick and smart at your fingertips, you don't necessarily need to be a walking encyclopedia. You need to be more, how do you traverse the encyclopedia quickly and do it effectively to get the job done? That should be the idea.
I mean, every business is profit driven. How do you put a profit on? If I'm an employer and I got to make a decision on whether to hire someone else or to invest in AI, if that person that I'm potentially going to employ can't bring anything extra and actually help me grow my revenue line, then I'm probably not going to make that expenditure.
There you go. Well, we got to hit this break. First, this part of the program brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. Entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you. Whether you're looking to purchase a home, maybe you're not ready to pull the trigger, but you should get in a position where you can pull that trigger, everything's squared away. You could do that by going ahead and getting pre-approved there at Alabama Home Mortgage, and they can walk with you every step of the way from pre-approval all the way to closing day. And of course, they can also help you with a great refinance deal, whether you're dealing with credit card debt or a second mortgage, or you want to reinvest in your property, your family, yourself, or on that dream vacation, buy a bunch of Bitcoin, whatever your goals are. They can help you there with a great refinance deal. Just check them out today. You can always call them direct at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Want that ride that is fun, affordable, and street legal? Check out ETG Outdoors in Montgomery. They have huge discounts on electric golf carts with many brand new units under 10 grand. New and used inventory, financing available, and they service what they sell. ETG Outdoors even provides lithium battery conversions and free delivery with purchase. Whether it's for the neighborhood, the farm, or just fun, ETG Outdoors, 7006 Vaughn Road, or online at etgoutdoors.com. Cruise smarter, drive electric. ETG Outdoors, your ride to freedom starts here.
Hey guys, this is Todd Clark with River Region Contracting, your premier roofing contractor in Central Alabama. So remember the name, River Region Contracting, for all your roofing needs. We're not affiliated with any other roofing company in the River Region. We've been in the roofing business since 2005. We don't have to buy our leads, and we don't have to knock on doors when the storms come around. We have thousands of satisfied customers throughout Central Alabama. So call us at 334-356-8635. That's 334-356-8635.
This is David Ernest from the Health and Wealth Show. We like to cut up and have fun, maybe poke a little fun at some politicians, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. One thing we do take seriously is your personal finances and your plans for retirement. You can tell by listening, we're a little different. Yeah, we like to have a good time on the radio, but we're dead serious about your financial future and helping you achieve your goals. At Ernest Financial, we're committed to giving you the attention you need. We don't treat you like a number. you're way more important to us. At Earnest Financial, it's about helping you today and preparing you for tomorrow. People call us who are on the verge of retirement, and they know they need a plan for the future. No matter where you are in life, Earnest Financial will help guide your every step towards retirement. Give us a call and let us show you what our individual customer attention can do for your future.
Concerned about your retirement? Call David Earnest toll-free at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas weather brought to you by Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing. Summer is ending, but the deals are hot at Clark Heating, Air and Plumbing. Just $29 service fee for all your AC and plumbing needs. Better call Clark today. Alabama certification number 09098.
Rich Thomas weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our beautiful, comfortable pattern continues for at least one more day today. Expect a sun and cloud mix with that comfortable humidity and a high temperature up to about 86. Dry through the evening hours tonight, but clouds will be on the increase and the risk of rain and thunderstorm holding off till the overnight hours late tonight, and then wet at times on Friday with a low tonight 66. Friday's high up to about 82. Then for the Labor Day weekend, spotty, random, scattered showers and storms, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. Hit or miss. Daytime highs in the mid-80s, lows at night in the 60s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
If it concerns your community, you'll hear about it on News Talk 93.1. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back, folks. And as promised, we have right across the desk from me here in the studio, United States Senator Katie Britt. Katie, how you doing today?
I am doing wonderfully, Joey. I'm so happy to be home.
Yeah.
So happy to be home. And of course, it's always good to be with you. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to be in front of your listeners.
Can I ask you a stupid question first?
Come on with it.
Because, you know, your office always sends out a bunch of stuff. And I saw the podcast you did with Katie Miller.
Yes.
My aunt and uncle did this in Auburn too. What's with like white everywhere? Is that all the rage now?
Yeah. Okay. So that room is actually like light blue.
Okay.
It did. So I painted it light blue, and then it's got, I've got we watch the birds, and Wesley has bird feeders outside.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's like we are a solid 75. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like we've, and that's where I like do my devotion in the morning, do my coffee.
Oh, it's a great space.
So it's a light blue. Yeah.
Because I'm just still such a man. If I could do this room, maybe I'll be like dark tones and wood.
You know what? But I do need to own the white thing, because a lot of the rooms in my house are like white dove, and it's just my go-to because it's an easy palette. But then I like am unafraid of color, so I've got a room with like color, with coral and blue and green and kind of all kinds of fun stuff. But yeah, I think it, and some people though, it's kind of like that restoration hardware or whatever. It's like, or pottery, whatever it is. And it's like, everything is white.
Yeah. I've been getting
That's not
on to
me.
my aunt about
That's
that.
not me. And Wesley Britt with white furniture that does not go together. So we have to have a little color in our house.
And so let's jump into some of the serious stuff out there, in particular tariffs. And generally, I was saying earlier in the show, have we hit the right balance with the big, beautiful bill? For instance, I think tariffs will have that effect of protecting business, in particular here in Alabama. But I'm wondering if it is going to increase, it is a tax increase. Are consumers going to start to see a price increase slowly? To offset that, did we cut enough in terms of the no tax on tips, the child care tax credits, these sorts of things? So like on balance, how do we hope the tariffs work out? Have we cut the income side of taxes enough? Is it going to protect those jobs here in Alabama while also raising revenue?
Yeah, so we've already seen this have a positive effect about people relocating here in America. Opportunity for us, whether it's steel manufacturers with budding, whether it is different companies saying, okay, we will build more here. We're going to invest, whether it's Hyundai or whatnot, or Mercedes, saying, here's our commitment to the United States. And we know ultimately we will be the beneficiary of that. There are things too, like our manufacturers, like our cabinet manufacturers, where we've seen for decade after decade, the Chinese continue to undercut them. Them being able to have a level playing field, I think, is essential to preserving that industry here in America. So I think you have a couple of things going on, Joey. It's important to take a step back and remember why President Trump is doing this. And ultimately, in my opinion, if we didn't learn anything from 2020, we learned that we must secure our critical supply chain, right? We cannot rely on our adversaries for the very things we need. And, in my opinion, it is to make sure that we're not just onshoring and reshoring jobs, but we're also driving up American wages. Yep. I mean, we're seeing American wages essentially be stolen by India and China and others, undercutting, they're supplanting these different products that they're sending to us in different ways. And I think President Trump has said, you have taken advantage of us for far too long, and I want America to be on a level playing field. None of this happens overnight. Right. We certainly will have to continue to build on it. We'll continue to have conversations. We know that in this business space, that certainty is important. And so I'm hopeful that, President Trump continues, and I believe he will, to strike great deals for America that'll provide that certainty, that'll allow people to do that investment that they need, that ultimately it goes back to good paying jobs. That's what we care about. On the big, beautiful bill, yep. I think, and I appreciate you actually taking a look at it, because what we did was tried to say, how can we help hardworking Americans keep more of their money? And so whether it is the no tax on tips or the no tax on overtime, or seniors. So seniors have a significant deduction, $6,000 and then a couple $12,000. That is real money. And knowing if we didn't pass this bill, if we had let all of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act expire from President Trump's first term, it would have been the most massive tax increase in American history. So you have that coupled with these new opportunities. And one of the things too, I want to make sure that I have an opportunity to talk about is the child care tax credits. Sure. Look, people, if we want people to have more children, we want them to be able to grow their family. And we know from the research and from just anecdotal conversations that many people say, I would love to grow my family, but it costs so much that's prohibitive. We want to take that away. So I actually was the tip of the spear on this, reforming the child care. So not the child tax credit, which we did actually make permanent and we increased by $200, but the child independent care tax credit and the DCAP and the 45F. So all these things that have to do with affordability and accessibility of child care. Updated them for the first time in one instance since 1986. So since Reagan was the president, right? Okay. And clearly things have gotten more expensive since Reagan was the president. Absolutely. And then the other two have not been updated since 2001. So 2 decades. And when they came into the Senate and they were talking about the big, beautiful bill, this was the second thing that they talked about. And Mike Crapo said, and we got a lot of Katie Britt provisions in here, a lot of Katie Britt provisions. So to pick up that mantle, and do Democrats talk all the time about affordability and accessibility of childcare? They had 2 bites at the apple, Joey, when it came to reconciliation. They did this twice under Joe Biden. Never did they touch childcare. And so was really proud for hardworking Americans that are trying to figure out how to make this work for their family to go ahead and make some significant strides on that. We certainly have more to do, but I'm proud of what we accomplished.
Yeah, I think my main criticism tracked with a lot of the X and Elon noise. I was worried about the debt and deficit, but it looks like the tariff revenue was not scored in the CBO scoring.
It's not.
And it's much higher than a lot of folks suspect.
And also, I don't have it in front of me. I will get it to you. The way that CBO originally scored it, they acted like if we were to allow the TCJA to lapse, then it would have been a $4 trillion, plus up, and which is not true. They're not taking into effect all that occurs as a result of that. So they readjusted that. Mike Crapo actually put it in front of us. I'll get that and send it to you, and it's a more accurate representation of what actually happened.
And moving on to another issue that I know you've been doing a lot, and it has advanced some, keeping kids off social media. But this is larger. I've been writing about it a lot. I think, as you know, is the AI revolution, and I use it a lot, and I think it's a fantastic tool. In fact, I'll tell you, I said, because I did my own research, I said, what's Katie Britt been up to lately, the good, the bad, and the ugly? And it gave links, every op-ed for you, every op-ed against you, like every different angle. It's kind of amazing what it can do. But then you see the dark corners it can take people to as well. So if people think social media is bad, I think AI is potentially even worse. On the big, beautiful bill, I know there was something about the federal government being able to override states and their local regulations, but there was some compromise on that, right?
There was. So we had, a really spirited debate about that. And obviously, Senator Cruz is the head of the Commerce Committee. This is where, that ultimately will come through if, as we kind of move forward. And so he had kind of put something forward, and we had dialogue about, well, what do we do? Do we do nothing? Do we have the right resolution right now? And so there was a conversation about, do we do a moratorium on states actually regulating AI? Just because when you think about a patch, and the pro on that was, well, if you think about a patchwork, where I'm doing this in this state and this in this state, and kind of how that stifles innovation, so to speak, versus, driving it into the hands of the Chinese and others. So what is that balance? And I think we're also taking a look, we obviously was not there, but have not done it right when it comes to social media, right? So, you look, the last time that we passed a piece of legislation, it was COPPA, so the Child Online Privacy and Protection Act, was 30 years ago. MySpace wasn't even a thing. Okay. Yeah. And that's the last time that we have touched this. That shows you both two things. It shows you the power of big tech. And it also shows you that when we let things get ahead of us, it is really hard to put the genie back in the bottle. This is something we're dealing with crypto, which is like a whole nother thing. We've got to get this right with regards to AI. We want to make sure that innovation occurs here. We know that the race to AI, the AI race is the race. That also couples with an energy race, which is interesting because you have to have it to move this forward. But whoever wins this is going to be superior in a number of ways. But the dangers of it are real. And so, whether you're looking at, fake videos online, or you're looking at misinformation that you've been kind of sort of given in this compilation, or what we're seeing happening with children and people, where you've got chatbots that are talking to individuals and essentially encouraging suicide, or, I literally last week was like, that is it. When it came out about Meta and them having allowing sensual relationships with chatbots with 8-year-olds. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And why is there not outrage? Every single member of Congress should say, we are doing something about this right now, right now. And I don't know how long we're going to allow this to occur. We have seen it with, you think about Snapchat. I've had people in front of the Judiciary Committee, parents who have said, look, my child bought a Loratab on Snapchat. It was laced with fentanyl, died. I've had parents sit in front of me and say, my child, bought an Adderall on Snapchat to stay up and study for a test. No one should be doing that. That's not what I'm saying. But you certainly don't think that Adderall is going to kill you. Right. Laced with fentanyl and died. If that were a shop on a corner right here in Montgomery, Alabama, do you think we'd let it keep operating?
Of course not.
No. And then you think about sextortion. Look, I did not grow up. This is going to date the two of us right here. Did not grow up with a front-facing camera. And now I am parenting in a world with a front-facing camera. I tell people all the time, I don't have to ask people what it's like to raise kids right now. I am living it. And the fact that no one in the Senate, and not no one, I think the Senate actually, we've moved some stuff, but Congress as a whole has said we are absolutely doing this. I've made it my mission to just keep it front and center, because you have young people that are taking photos of themselves thinking that, thinking that they're maybe sending it to someone else. It ends up sent to a sex ring in Nigeria. They're being blackmailed. There are all kinds of things occurring. And I am sitting with these parents in my office. This is happening to Alabamians. This is not far off. And I think we've got to do better. I think it is cowardly to do nothing. And we've got to figure it out. I have a piece of legislation that's been marked up. Senator Cruz marked it up in the Senate Commerce Committee, the Kids Off Social Media Act. It just puts up guardrails. You can't be on social media before you're 13, which is what the social media companies say they do anyway. So it shouldn't be a problem. The Surgeon General says 16, but this is 13, right? And then it just says you cannot use algorithms against our kids between 13 and 17. Right. So think of that like tobacco, how you can't have advertisements, with the camel that makes a kid.
Well, I saw with young women in particular being fed content to make them self-conscious about their looks. Yes. And then we're feeding you, here's some advertisement for products to make your looks better.
Bingo. Right. So listen to this. If a young girl takes a selfie of herself and deletes it, they start sending her advertisements about beauty products, and it's like pornography to kids, both male and female, betting, sports, all of the things, eating disorders. And this is insane that we are allowing that to occur. So it says you can't use algorithms against our kids 13 to 17. And then it just says eyes on the board. If you're at school, when you're receiving federal funding, you shouldn't allow social media apps to function on school property.
And did the Kids Off Social Media Act advance out of committee?
It did. So I'm really proud of that. And this is one of these rare moments where you have people from both sides of the aisle coming together on this. This is Ted Cruz and myself. And then you have Brian Schatz, who is going to be the next Democratic whip when Dick Durbin retires. So people say, and I believe that will happen. And then Chris Murphy. So you don't get the four of us agreeing on much of anything.
Fair enough.
And so the four of us coming together on that, but we got to do something. And then you add in AI and what we're seeing right now. And we should be like literally standing on the rooftops and making sure that every parent out there knows what's happening, because I guarantee you there are so many parents that wish they had the knowledge so that they could have had a different conversation or an extra conversation, and maybe their child would still be with them today.
Absolutely. And I've just noticed the more, and sometimes in big ways, sometimes in small ways, the more the technology capabilities change, you're going to get new moral dilemmas and quandaries, and got to stay on top of it. You're also on the banking committee, right? So you know how interested I am with the whole cryptocurrency space, in particular Bitcoin. For myself, I guess I'd be like in Michael Saylor's camp, all Bitcoin maxied out. But I saw the Genius Act passed. Is there the Market Structure Act? Is that in the hopper? And then also Senator Lummis's bill on the Bitcoin Reserve.
Yes. And I actually was just texting with Senator Lummis just before I came in. On that Katie Miller podcast, they asked me who I'd want to plan a trip for me. I said, Cynthia Lummis. And so she just wrote me a text and was like, I have got the itinerary ready. She's great. And you had recommended a Bitcoin book to me.
Bitcoin Standard, yeah.
Yep. And then Cynthia gave me my very first one when I was kind of going around as a candidate. And I sit right next to her on the banking committee. And it has proved to be incredibly valuable just to get her insight, because she gets it. First off, we're all trying to learn. People like you have been in this space and understand nuances. And so as you're trying to create correct structure, you're having those conversations and digging in. But she is, we call her the crypto queen. Awesome. At all times. But when you look back at the Genius Act, obviously making sure that we have that for stablecoin and payment system in general, being backed obviously by the dollar, US Treasury 1-to-1, but what that does for small businesses, what that does just for individuals, wherever you go, not just here, but across the world, being able to utilize that is big. And again, it goes back to innovation. We want it to occur here. We don't want to drive these things offshore, but we know that this is a more complex market structure, is much more complex. Sure. The House has the Clarity Act. I have not dug into that yet. I think Tim Scott today actually kind of sent out here's the framework of what I'm looking at. He has set a very ambitious goal of saying we want to mark this up by the end of this work period in September. Good. So that means that we've got to dig in and get going. There are so many different components to this. And I'd love your thoughts on what you think we need to be looking at. It's nice, though, we now have an administration that gets it and says, we want to create some guidelines. We want to create some structure, and let's get to work. So Tim Scott has been completely different than Sherrod Brown. Think about Sherrod Brown, chair of the banking committee, never would bring one item related to digital assets, crypto, Bitcoin, anything, any of those words were buzzwords for him to not touch it. That proved to be, I think, detrimental. I think now we have people that want America to lead the way. And so Tim and the way he has done this I think is the exact right way. This is another reason why we don't need Sherrod Brown back in the United States Senate.
Here, here.
John Husted for Ohio. But truly, I'd love to know from you what you think we should be looking at, because now we even have the SEC and the CFTC both saying, instead of saying we want it all, saying, okay, we get it. Some things need to be securities, some things need to be commodities.
Yeah.
Let's work together and figure out how we actually make this
I think
work.
actually everybody's on the same page. I really would. I'm wondering what's the support for the Bitcoin reserve bill to buy up 200,000 a year.
Yeah, and I can find out where that is.
Because I know you co-sponsored
Yeah,
it.
and I can find out if we can, if we think that that's going to get marked up.
Cool.
I'll get back to you.
Well, and we've pretty much run out of time here. I will say we've covered a lot. When I looked up the good, the bad, and the ugly, I was like, I'm not going to bring up the ugly because I don't want to be the Tucker Carlson of your Ted Cruz.
Okay, thank you.
So we won't go down that road.
I appreciate that.
And that guy wrote that Bitcoin book. Don't look up his politics on Israel and Palestine.
Okay, got it.
So, but anyway,
got it.
but I always appreciate your time. And real quick, if I could steal a moment, you want to talk about how obstructionist the Democrats are in the Senate?
Oh my gosh, thank you. So, we have been working nonstop. And look, that's what we signed up for. We've had a moment in time right now to, I believe, take our country back. And the more we do, the more I realize how far the country had gone and how much more there is that we need to do. So we've worked around the clock. We've worked weekends, Saturdays, Sundays. I've been told we had more in session days by like 30 something days than the House of Representatives, which, by the way, if that is true, there was only 7 months in the year that we were there. So that's a whole lot more. I know we voted twice the amount they have. We have voted, I think, 500 and something times in the for a year. The most ever is 538 votes for United States Senate. So we're going to hit that within the first week of being back up there. So that tells you how hard we're going. But Democrats have had unprecedented obstruction. So they're using the cloture motion in a way that it was never intended to be used.
Okay.
And if you look back, we've had 135 nominees of President Trump's. They have made us file cloture on 134. And I want to put that in perspective for you. Rewind. Remember when Clarence Thomas was nominated for the Supreme Court and it was hotly controversial? They didn't even make us file cloture on him. And so we have gone from that to them following cloture on, what seems to be the assistant legal counsel for Fish and Wildlife. I mean, something that you're like, wait, what are we doing here? Right. So they're making us jump through unnecessary hoops that were intended for the most extreme circumstances on every single one. And they've not let one nominee go by unanimous consent. And that is unprecedented. If you go back to George H.W. Bush and Clinton, they had 98% of their nominees confirmed by unanimous consent, which means we didn't actually, we go and Trump has had zero. And then also, just even the turnaround time, even though we're working nonstop, as what I just told you, turnaround time for Reagan was like 25 days. For Trump, in between nomination, it's been an average of 94. And so it is absolutely insane when you start actually looking at the numbers of what they're making us do, which is just unnecessary and also unprecedented. So, for instance, like W. Bush and Obama each had over 300 people confirmed by the 1st of August. Trump has had 135 people confirmed, and they had 276 and 292 by voice vote, Bush and Obama. And then you have Trump, who had 0 by voice vote. So it is just absolutely absurd. We have 1,200 people we're supposed to confirm. Right. At this rate, if this is all we did, we would only get 800 confirmed by the end of his entire term. And last but not least, we have 120 pieces of bipartisan legislation that have been marked up in committee. That's what we're there to do. We're there to make sure we get the right nominees in place, but we're not getting to be able to do that kind of stuff. And I know that the American people want us to work on affordable housing and work to make things better for their life. And so I think that's what we need to get back to doing.
Well, out of time here, and I always appreciate your time. Good to see you.
You got it. Hey, and I'm leading on this. I'm one of the senators working to try to figure out rules change. So I'm happy to come back and talk to you about how that's going.
Anytime you're in town, want to call?
You got
Please
it.
do.
You got it. Thanks.
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Pestruccelli, General Sales Manager and co-owner of Blue Water Broadcasting. For over 21 years, Blue Water Broadcasting has been a proud part of the River region. We're not just a company, we're your neighbors. Our owners, air staff, account executives, and support team all live right here. We believe in this community, and we stand by our slogan, Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
When lunchtime rolls around, head to the place everyone's raving about, Epicure. Serving up meat and 3 specials and a gourmet burger menu every Tuesday through Friday from 11 to 3. You'll love the freshly made salads, the generous portions, and yes, the prices. There's even a $10.99 senior special. This isn't just lunch, it's family-owned goodness. Cooked fresh every day with recipes that keep folks coming back again and again. Epicure, big flavor, big portions, and big smiles.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
News and talk without the static. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Oh, welcome back. So what did you think, Byron? I think on the whole gridlock in the Senate, what would really help it is you get more Republican senators. That would help a lot in that regard. I just think she was laying that out. Like, it does seem the old rules of especially that body, the Senate, it's become this Mexican standoff. Like, how much we want to chip away at what used to be a gentleman's club.
Yeah. This is very unkosher, that kind of getting down in the weeds. What I was kind of asking off the air, like, I would have tried to nut through like a rules change and just not send out a memo that was going to be changed, and hopefully everyone just adopts the rules like they are prone to do.
Yeah, but it just seems like we're going further. It's like a race to the bottom in terms of like, are we going to use the nuclear option for this? Are we going to use our powers to obstruct in this way?
Well,
like, it just compared to what it was 20 years or 40 years ago, it's quite a different beast up there, and the new generation's going to have to figure it out.
And I think, from what I could glean in some of the conversations, it seems like there's a markedly difference between the House and the Senate. Like, how many senators did, Katie say that she was talking to on some other issues?
Several, yeah.
Several. I don't think we'd hear those sort of same numbers on the House side.
Right. There's still some, yes,
Yeah.
they can still be friends. And that's why I tend to, no offense to members of the House running for Congress, I tend to focus on the Senate because that's where ideas actually get hammered home. Now, sometimes you can just look at the White House and the secretaries, see what they're doing. But I tend to look at the Senate because when it's a body of 100, you can get to know people and actually build relationships and stuff. And I think the House is just, it's silly season a lot of the time. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there are people working behind the scenes who have their different interests and they're friends and stuff. But 435 people, and it's kind of mayhem with these small margins of majorities.
And they're always in campaign mode.
Right.
Like this is one of the big arguments
every day on the phone
against 2 years versus the 6 that the Senate has. I mean, if your representative is always in campaign mode and always trying to satisfy that primary voter, they're going to behave differently than a senator will.
Whereas Katie won't be on the ballot again until 28. Gets elected in the 22 cycle.
Was she on the ballot last time?
Yeah.
Well, it would be 28.
Yeah.
Just add 6.
She was in 2022 cycle.
There you go.
So it's you do see a difference, but I always appreciate her stopping by the studio. We got a whole other hour ahead of us, sir.
I got to just say it's cool. Like I sat beside Katie at a desk at UA. We
at the University of Alabama.
Yeah, we played the name game. And,
that's cool.
And it's not often that a U.S. senator gives you a big old bear hug.
Oh, sure.
It's cool, man.
No, and it's cool to see that person you met when you're 19 or 20 years old is now a United States senator.
I think the first time I met Katie was probably more along the lines of 17.
Wow. Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, actually. It's the perspective. You never know, folks. You never know who you're sitting next to when the years go by. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. 81% of Americans agree that crime is a major issue. President Trump's recent focus has been on crime in Washington, D.C. and other big cities, and that is now a clear strength for him, according to a new AP North poll. 53% of Americans approve of the methods by which the president is combating crime. A thorough investigation continues following the Minneapolis school shooting that killed 2 and wounded 17. Archbishop Bernard Hebda told a crowd of mourners Wednesday night that young students tried to shield their classmates as the gunfire erupted yesterday morning at Annunciation Catholic School. One child remains in critical condition. The shooter, Robin Westman, killed himself. On Wall Street, stocks remain higher. The Dow had 13 points, the Nasdaq up 130. This is SRN News.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Alabama Wholesale Lumber. Alabama Wholesale Lumber, the best quality building materials in the river region for decades. From common builds to special orders and local delivery. Call Alabama Wholesale Lumber.
Rich Thomas Weather.
Well, hi, everybody. Our beautiful, comfortable pattern continues for at least one more day today. Expect a sun and cloud mix with that comfortable humidity and a high temperature up to about 86. Dry through the evening hours tonight, but clouds will be on the increase and the risk of rain and thunderstorm holding off till the overnight hours late tonight, and then wet at times on Friday with a low tonight 66. Friday's high up to about 82. Then for the Labor Day weekend, spotty random scattered showers and storms, mostly in the afternoon and evening hours. Hit or miss. Daytime highs in the mid-80s, lows at night in the 60s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations since we began in 1906. At CB&S Bank, we're here for you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
1819 News.
The group known as Accuracy in Media has struck again with an undercover video obtained at the University of North Alabama. An employee there, Allison Berger, was caught talking about the ways in which diversity, equity, and inclusion concepts are still being implemented at that school, despite a state law that bans it. Berger admitted it's tricky, but it's being done through the renaming and repositioning of certain people.
I would say some of our sister universities like UAH in Alabama, like even if their DEI office was a person of one, that person didn't get fired. They just got moved. Gotcha. And title change, and we're still trying to serve students, right? Yeah. We just have had to found trickier, more niche ways to do that. And we're still serving the same students. We're still seeing the same students. Like it's not, there's nothing's changed.
UNA has not given a comment on this video to 1819 News. A similar video was revealed by Accuracy in Media a few weeks ago involving the University of West Alabama. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Covenant Rescue Group seeks to directly support organizations and agencies that are fighting the global battle against human trafficking. They do this through funding, procuring, and advocating. You can go to covenantrescue.org for further details. They need your donations, guys. Hop on and donate.
Ford Auto Company is recalling 355,000 pickup trucks across the nation for a faulty instrument panel display. The Ford pickup trucks from 2025 have a section in their panel that can fail to operate, leaving the screen blank for drivers who may need to see gauges and safety-related information. Ford is offering a free software update to these truck owners. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. At PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Final hour here of the program. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Byron Sheehy here in the studio with me. And we have Chicken Man has been very patient. Hey, Chicken Man, how you doing?
Pretty good. I was just going to tell you, Katie Britt on there, that was a great episode you had. Our government, if more of the Democrat politicians would have the passion that she has, just imagine how much better our government would run.
Oh, yeah, and it does seem like there is no pun intended, a game of chicken going on here about who's going to break some old rules first. And, I mean, some have already been broken in the last, say, couple decades. And right now, the gamesmanship, the partisan gamesmanship is to the hilt, because I think the right under Trump has actually fought back and fought fire with fire. And so now you got to wonder, especially if more young folks around her age and late 30s, 40s get up in the Senate, maybe even if you disagree on a lot of issues and you're going to fight like hell during campaigns and election season, we can be gentlemen and gentle ladies here.
Well, you know how it is. None of us are perfect, and even the politicians, but Democrats and Republicans, both sides. How many of those politicians would you say need to be eliminated?
Like out of office? Well, on certain days,
eliminated.
on certain days, I'm like, well, most of y'all.
You know, it's just sad to hear some of the politicians the way they. I mean, all of us have our days where we're not the brightest, but some of these politicians that come up with these ideas that they do, it's just ridiculous. I hate to see the Dems doing the fighting that they're doing against the current administration.
Yeah, well, I think that's just the nature of the beast. The thing is, the Democrats are kind of lost in the wilderness. They have no clear leader. Gavin Newsom ain't it. AOC ain't it. Joe Biden's dead, essentially. Hillary Clinton is, nobody wants to see her or hear her.
I think it's going to come from the state ranks, the dude from Kentucky, Bashir.
Something like that has to happen. Barack Obama, I mean, I think Obama spent so much of his political capital trying to, essentially his magic that he had, like, you know, oh, if I give my endorsement, it'll transfer to Kamala Harris. No, it did not work. It did not work at all.
Yeah, most people don't have long coattails in politics.
Yeah.
Like I said, if we had more politicians, you know, just and of course, Katie Britt, you know, she does a good job, but she may not be the perfect, but at least she's in there trying her best.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely have had my disagreements with Katie, but she is earnest. She works her tail off, and honestly, on certain issues where we agree, I really, really appreciate it.
Well, you have a good day.
Thanks, Chicken Man. Yeah, especially on the crypto thing. Well, I really appreciate her co-sponsoring Lummis's bill. It's awesome.
The passion that Chicken Man spoke about on our senator, I mean, that shone through, you know, decades ago. I mean, she's always been this way as long as I've known her. I'm proud she's our senator.
Yeah. I mean, then there's times though where I like all the folks we have on the show. It's like Judge Napolitano, like have him sitting in here at the same time. It'd be him with most politicians, honestly.
Yeah,
he's a charming man, but man, the fireworks of disagreements. Whoo.
I wouldn't want to be responsible for hosting that party. I'd like to just be a participant at that party.
Honestly, it'd probably be a lot of fun. If it was actually private in a party, it'd be a lot of fun.
It'd be fun, but
it'd be fiery.
I wouldn't want to have the blood on my hands at the end of the night.
Let's go to line 2. You're on there. Who's us?
Mr. Joey. How you doing, my brother?
Good. How are you?
At home, man.
What's up, dude?
Not much. Man, Joey, man, I wish you would ask her when she was bragging about the no tax on overtime and all that stuff. How did she really feel about how did she felt about the state of Alabama voting that particular bill down? Damn, I wish you asked her that. Maybe she'll call back in and answer that for you. Answer for the people, hardworking people of the state of Alabama that she says she's so concerned about.
So you would like our United States Senator to...
No, I like her opinion. I like her opinion about that. Ask her. If she was bragging about it, she said, Trump, you know, give...
They did that at the federal level.
Overtime
right.
and all that. I know that. I understand that part, but she brought it up. Okay. When I was not participating in it, I asked her how did she feel about the state of Alabama voting it down. That's all. Simple question.
Probably say something
maybe
about
she'll call
in
and maybe she'll text you and tell you about it.
Yeah, it's just I don't invite on a United States senator or ask her about those morons over in the state house. Like, come on, man. Come on. Though I'd imagine you have all sorts of answers. Well, actually, Danny Garrett's bill of the larger standard deduction. Yeah, I've heard him. I heard him from the speaker himself. Yeah, like, I don't like it. I think they should have kept that cut for overtime here in the state on the state level, but they didn't keep it. It's frustrating.
I mean, what are you supposed to do? I mean, the president did what he was supposed to do. They voted for it or what have you. And like you said, the guys in Montgomery, completely different lane. She can have an opinion. She can't influence anything. I'm sure you know what she says behind closed doors to him. Probably mirrors exactly what she says in public and mirrors exactly what the president's doing. Lean from that what you will.
Oh no! When I saw Senator Tuberville bragging about Alabama was the first state in the union to do this, and then all of a sudden the legislature, in the middle of getting rid of it, as he's bragging about it.
Yeah, that was bad timing.
Yeah, it's frustrating as hell.
Well, it goes to show there's very little coordination on messaging between the two levels.
No, I think there most issues. There's a general respect to that's your lane.
Yeah.
Occasionally, there's overlap, obviously, but not on most issues.
Now, it is kind of peculiar that the state position does differ from the federal position.
Right. Well, the state's argument, I don't agree with it necessarily, is that we expanded the just standard deduction enough that you're still getting relief. Yeah, but I liked that idea of targeting it for, in particular, for people that are working that 60 hours at the factory, and it's not really voluntary.
It's not the same, because if it was the same, they wouldn't have changed it.
Right. Exactly right. 272-9228. If you want to get in on the conversation, that's 334-272-9228. Yeah, and I'm actually getting some follow-up from her office, what Katie was talking about with the CBO score from Mike Crapo.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say it the other way, gentlemen.
Crapo?
No, it's C-R-A-P-O.
Crapo?
Crapo. It's not Crapo, it's Mr. Crapo, Senator Crapo to you.
You told me not to do
from
that.
Idaho. But he put it out there saying we do not have a revenue problem in America. We have a spending problem.
Agreed.
That wanted to score this legislation under a more realistic scenario using a current policy baseline. The Council of Economic Advisors estimates that making the Trump tax cuts permanent, combined with other Trump pro-growth policies like regulatory reform, yada, 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 will increase federal revenues by more than $4 trillion. Far more. And then you start adding in, like, what? I think the last estimate I saw would be something like $500 billion from the tariffs over a whole year.
I think that's probably, I mean, whatever that number is, I think it's going to grow continuously in the right direction over the next decade.
Yeah.
I mean, if that, whatever the number is, if that's the baseline and we only go up and to the right from there, rock and roll.
Yeah. And right now it's over and done with. Big Beautiful Bill is the big beautiful law. And we will see as we get into next year, are we going to have a big beautiful birthday bash?
Big beautiful results, baby.
Too many bees. Too many bees. Again, 272-9228 if you want to hop in on the program. Should we go to the reactions to the awful shooting, or should we go to something else?
I don't want reactions.
Yeah.
You know what the reactions are going to be.
Right. I agree.
I mean, if we want to cover it and talk about it, you know, from a top shelf sort of way and not get down into the partisan muck, then sure.
Yeah. Well, Bobby Kennedy, when he was asked about drugs used for transition and stuff, he generalized it. He said, actually, HHS will be launching studies into SSRIs that should have been done decades ago.
Okay, I'm going to kind of backtrack a little here. I am going to say one thing about the politics. I've read earlier where Walls denied funding specifically for this school to have additional security.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's a big screw up on his part. Yeah, and it's not, and I already don't like the guy, but like that's the request was made, you denied it, this happened.
I don't understand how, if someone has a pen and they have a budget and they have to start ranking things, what's prioritized? If someone requests security for a school, how do you say no to that? What got
I'm lost for words.
What got funded and that got denied?
Well, the New York Post write-up says transgender mass shooter Robin Westman confessed he was, quote unquote, tired of being trans and wished he, quote, never brainwashed, end quote, himself in a manifesto posted online, where he slaughtered 2 children, wounded dozens more at a Minneapolis Catholic church. In a twisted handwritten journal he shared on YouTube before the massacre, much of which is encrypted in a homespun code of Russian Cyrillic script and English words, Westman groaned about his long hair and his decision to transition. I only keep the long hair because it is pretty much my last shred of being trans. I'm tired of being trans. I wish I never brainwashed myself, he wrote, according to a translation. And there are more things. And what had me saying this is, this went to a demonic place, is one of the sketches he did was clearly himself looking in the mirror. He's got the long hair and he's got a assault rifle in the sketch on his back. And the reflection in the mirror is, and again, he drew this, is a demon. like a straight up demon. So that's what he was seeing back at himself. All the stuff written on clips, and it's just,
it's a lot, man.
It's a lot. And I think studying SSRIs, I think studying the impact that some, definitely for younger people, these hormone therapies and stuff, what are the potential effects to your psychology? Does it actually make things better, or does it have potential to make things much, much worse? But then I think also this is straight up evil. When you see that sketch in particular grabs my imagination, because that's not somebody who just all of a sudden thought of this.
Mm-hmm.
That's somebody who's probably been meditating in the dark alone for a long time on this stuff. And just got sucked deeper and deeper and deeper into that headspace, into that possession.
Different levels of possession.
Like, and people these days don't want to bring up, like demonic possession or whatever. But when you have a guy in his own hand sketching himself, seeing himself as a demon in the mirror, and then he does something like this.
That's pretty evil.
Yeah, maybe we should give more credence to the idea of the demonic, that it's out there, that it can suck you in. And it often grips and attaches itself to the most messed up, the most psychologically vulnerable. The people that have already found reason to say, I'm kind of done with life.
All right,
I'm done with this world. And then you keep thinking about it that way, it's going to get you.
You know, there's going to be some people who say, of course he wasn't really possessed by a demon. It's some mental illness, blah, 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 blah,
Well,
blah.
thank you, David Hume, and your empiricism. Whatever, Mr. Literal.
If that's not evil, I don't know what is. Like, that is the perfect illustration of evil.
Right.
Manifest through whatever way, mental illness, whatever. It manifests itself in that person, and that person did horrible things. I don't know, man. It's a lot.
Apparently he applied to change his birth name from Robert to Robin in Minnesota when he was 17, according to court documents.
And he was 22 or 23?
Let's see here. 23. 23. The petition was granted in January 2020 for him to change his name. But 5 years later, he seemed to have shrunk away from his new identity, scribbling on another page of the notebook, quote, I don't want to dress girly all the time, but I guess sometimes I really like it. I know I'm not a woman, but I definitely don't feel like a man. Yeah.
Any comment from this person's parents? I want to see if there's a father figure in this dude's life.
Then he started having violent fantasies about killing kids, wanting to be a scary, horrible monster standing over them. He glorified Sandy Hook's massacre. They also show phrases like kill Donald Trump on the gun magazines. And there was one of the more chilling parts of the video is he had hand-drawn a layout of the church, of the Catholic Church, Annunciation Catholic Church and school. He graduated from that school in 2017. And as he's laying it out, he's saying, I'm going to enter from here. And then after he said what he said, he stabs the page with a knife.
That's evil, man.
Yes. Yeah, it's not enough like, I don't know who I am and I just want life to end. And it's in many of the, if you actually get around the encryption, and AI's been able to translate this stuff in real time pretty fast. It's like, yeah, it's weird Russian. A lot of the phrases are like, I want to end it. I want to commit suicide. Like, I want to kill myself. I can't. I want out.
Did he ever name the demon?
I don't know. I haven't done that deep of a dive. I'm just reading off a few things.
Yeah, man. If he was...
It's evil.
17 years old, 23, like you said, he didn't just wake up and all of a sudden want to change his name to Robin.
Right.
I mean, this has been brewing for probably at least a decade, longer than that, really.
Yeah, and you got to wonder too, like, get the diagnosis right. Like, is this actually like the remedy to your issue? Like, you don't feel yourself. There's a lot of ways you cannot feel yourself. And maybe you make sense of it as like, I'm not the right gender or whatever, right sex. Or it could be something else completely different. Like, there's a lot of different ways to feeling alienated.
Yeah, but
and maybe if you glom on to the wrong solution, that only makes the problem worse. That's one way to always kind of fail, and is to succeed down the wrong road.
No matter what your self-image, body dysmorphia, blah, 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 how does that connect to opening fire on a bunch of kids during, their invocation or prayer service, man? Like, I just can't square that.
Yeah. And as I said at the beginning of the show, and I've been saying for years, this is not something I relish. It's not like I see these stories and I'm like, ooh, I'm so excited to talk about it, because I've seen the policy debates, the gun control stuff comes up. There is clearly a pattern of people identifying as trans, like year after year after year, you're seeing these, and then you get the response, well, don't demonize the trans community in general, these sort of things. And I think it's seeing what we just went over a little bit. You don't even have to do a deep dive. My sense is this is deeper than trans, though the amount of folks who are out of their mind, God love them, wish they weren't. Like, there's obviously some overlap there, a lot of overlap.
You asked Erica earlier how she dealt with it. And I don't know how you've done it for this long, because I only sit in a couple of days a week, and having to pay more attention to the news, so up on the topics and everything, you come across more of this stuff.
And I know I'm not the first person to say this, and I know we're sitting here talking about it, but like yesterday, and it's still continuing today on Fox, and it's all in all the cable networks, it was wall-to-wall coverage of this. Wall-to-wall coverage. And I get why it is a big news story. The evil of it, like how unconscionable it is, like people immediately start to think I could have been, I went to Catholic school. I went to mass as a kid, like every Friday.
I don't know.
And like you start thinking in those terms, so I get why people cover this, but as y'all saw, he praised the Sandy Hook shooting. And there is definitely a copycat element to this. Like, and if you didn't have the wall-to-wall coverage in the way that we do you get these memes, for lack of a better word, for people to glob onto when they're troubled? And troubled is a mild word for what I'm describing. Doesn't quite fit. It's evil. And it crops up in all sorts of ways. And there's some people that are lonely and depressed or alienated and stuff, and they never do something like this. There are people who are trans and never do something like this.
Right. That's why I can't see it being the same.
I think there's this overlap of when a kid is a teenager and you do something drastic to help them sort out what they're dealing with, that's not really the solution. And that's why I appreciate Bobby Kennedy saying, let's broaden this out to all things that alter the SSRIs, all these things that kind of alter the mind. And in fact, you see with a lot of these people were on the SSRIs beforehand. And you got to wonder, okay, if they'd never been on them, would they have still done something like this? You have to study this out and control for all the variables. But there's a type. There's definitely a type.
It was interesting. And I want to know if the translation was actually correct. The Russian said, wish he had never brainwashed himself.
Mm.
He didn't say they brainwashed me.
Right.
Like, I thought that was interesting.
Oh, yeah. What a shame. 272-9228 if you want to hop in on all this. That's 334-272-9228. How about this? Let's reset. Hit a break. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. And I'm Madeline Cannon.
and we have some exciting news to share with you. We've been serving the state of Alabama for many, many years, and now we are able and ready to offer the same great mortgage financing in Georgia and Florida as well.
Our company may be Alabama Home Mortgage, but now we can finance your Georgia home mortgage and your Florida home mortgage too. We couldn't be more excited to extend our customer base to our neighboring states. For years, we have had customers call us in hopes we could assist them with purchasing their vacation cabin in North Georgia or their dream home in Florida. And now we can. For those of you who have family and friends that live in Florida and Georgia, be sure to tell them the good news.
Whether you are looking to purchase or refinance a home located in Alabama, Georgia, or Florida, you owe it to yourself to give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time.
It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bells Cleaning Service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bells because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The River Region's first and only news talk station on FM. Live, local talk. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. How about we do something a little lighter? Have you ever watched Chris Williamson's podcast, Modern Wisdom?
I'd have to see his face.
British dude. He kind of is a modern day Adonis. I admit it.
Younger cat.
Probably about my age, maybe a little older than me. Your age, maybe. Not that guy.
I saw the icon, and I've watched some of his stuff.
Yeah, where is he in this piece? Well, we don't see him in this piece, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about, seeing his profile pic. And he covers all sorts of stuff. I think it's a great, thoughtful show. And this clip caught my eye because it is simply titled, Women Need Adoration and Men Need Admiration. Adoration versus admiration. I believe this is, if I am remembering just based off what this guy looks like, I think that's Arthur Brooks, maybe? I don't know. Let's listen in because actually I think this is a fantastic point in general. There's always exceptions to the rule that maybe prove the rule. But I think this is sound advice when it comes to the so-called battle of the sexes and working together.
Women require adoration. And this is often called the adoration-admiration dichotomy. Adoration means, baby, you're everything. I would literally take a bullet for you. You're so wonderful. You're so beautiful. And from the evolutionary biology would suggest you need somebody who's going to be protective, way beyond what reason would suggest. You're insane for that particular person, whereas men need admiration. which is basically, that is the largest gazelle I've ever seen that you just dragged into the cave. You're so big and strong, right? And so it almost suggests that what guys need is like just admiration. I need you to admire me more than anybody else admires me. And we're not egomaniacs, but these are differences that actually would get back to, I'm going to just take care of you and the kids forever. And I'm going to protect you because I adore you so much. And you're going to admire me for this. And again, I need to be admired. I mean, I do need to be adored as a husband and as a person and the whole thing. So it's not that simple, but there's a lot to that. And so one of the things that guys will say, what's the secret? And it's number one, adore her. And number two, be admirable. Actually be admirable. She's not going to admire you if you're not admirable, for God's sake. And adore her. What if I don't feel it? I don't care. I don't care. Adore her. That's the secret.
His royal badness got it right in the late 80s. Until the end of the time, I'll truly adore you.
That's what I've been doing wrong. Sometimes I just stop adoring.
Yeah. No, you can start taking people for granted, not just in, say, relationships between men and women. Everybody can take everybody for granted.
Well, sometimes they stop putting that best foot forward.
Oh, yeah. No, you always start wondering, well, who's the first? Who's the first to give away? Yeah. Oh, yeah. But no, I think there's some basic fundamental truth to that. Like, I don't need you to adore me as much as a dude, but like, it's more like see me, and for the stuff that I do that's good, because I screw up a lot and I got a lot of flaws. But for the stuff that, occasional like recognition it's kind of nice.
And it's not even so much like I said appreciation. He can say,
admiration.
He can say admiration, I say appreciation. I don't need a pat on the back, but just the tip of the cap. Like, I just need someone to recognize that they see what I'm doing. They don't have not a lot of fanfare,
Right.
Just do the right thing.
Yeah, honestly, it's just I'll take accusing me of stuff I've actually done. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, man.
Hey, Randall. How you doing?
I'm good, fellas. Oh, I was just going to call and make it something a little light and tell you, it'd be all right, I tell you about something different.
Oh, sure.
They selling sunlight now.
They're stealing sunlight.
No, selling it at night. You'll be able to buy it in the future. And not too near the near future too. It's you just look it up about, just say selling sunlight, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But
selling sunlight.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's going to come in that same can that it came in Spaceballs.
Right, the fresh air.
Yeah.
It's got mirrors. They're going to mirror it down, and it'll show up in a 4-mile section or 3-mile section. And you'll be able to get it for how long you want to. They're saying it's going to change the game for solar power. They're be able to buy it and have sunlight.
Yeah, the company's called Reflect Orbital. It's a startup.
Reflect
Orbital. I'd want more proof of concept before I gave them seed money, to be honest.
Well, I understand that part. There's a lot of write-ups on it, though, down through there. But anyway, I just going to give you something a little lighter. But, hey, and you do need to tell your woman, man, how special she is all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Or not, man, saying you end up replacing you.
Until the end of time, I'll be there for you. You own my heart and mind, and I truly adore you.
But you can't get complacent. You know what I mean? Not taking her out for date night. I mean, that's people call it date night. But you quit taking her out, quit spending quality time, and not telling her how much you appreciate you, man. It'll really come back to bite you. Speaking to a person who's divorced. So I ain't saying I didn't do all that, and that ain't why I got divorced, but I mean, I did. So, and I look back now, I didn't take her out on, well, I can't, we partied. We didn't go out on dates. We went to places where a lot of other people were, and that wasn't the right thing to do. And so, anyway, fellas, keep your woman tight, man. Keep her tight.
Appreciate it, Randall. Have a good one, man.
All right, fella.
This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that great team are ready to help you out with any and all of your pest control needs. Could be you're just looking for basic pest control. They can help you with that, of course, for a very reasonable fee. They do this new monthly subscription model, and I'm pretty certain even if you do the full package, like the termite protection and the mosquito protection, if you actually want to enjoy your yard, treating the yard for fleas, for ticks, I'd imagine you're spending more on like streaming subscriptions.
Definitely.
Like, go with Pest Pro. They can handle everything across the board for your pest control needs. And the great news is they're great local folks. Not only is your money staying here in the river region, they're always giving back. I know for a fact Ashley helps out local schools, local nonprofits, including other small businesses. So when you're spending your money with Pest Pro, you're talking about a great success story coming out of the pandemic. They really do wonderful, wonderful work. You will have a smile on your face next time you see one of their Pest Pro trucks pull up to your place. That number, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can always go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. When you want to know, call a pro, Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. Again, 272-9228 if you want to hop on into the conversation. Did you hear me covering? Because I think I gave short shrift to this. Not enough time yesterday. I didn't get to it until like the last segment. And it's a New York Times write-up. I don't know if you saw this, Byron. Donald Trump's big gay government on the town with the A-gays of Washington who have never been happier to be out proud and Republican.
What was the terminology? A-gays?
A-gays. Like the letter A dash gays.
Okay, so what's the A?
I should just read this, I think.
I should probably be quiet. Okay.
No, because I think a lot of your questions might be
Well, that's what I
answered
did. If I could just wait my
here. It
turn.
was the last Wednesday in July, and many of Washington's top players were hanging out at the Ned, a private club around the corner from the White House. Secretary of the Navy, John Phelan, was waiting for an elevator in the lobby when he bumped into Dr. Mehmet Oz, the surgeon turned daytime TV star now in charge of Medicare and Medicaid. Howard Lutnick, the Secretary of Commerce, was bouncing around the library bar upstairs. Scott Bessent, Secretary of the Treasury, was wandering around up there too. Sitting in a brown leather armchair in the center of this social whirl was a high-ranking official of the Department of Energy named Charles Moran. His abstruse-sounding title is Associate Administrator for External Affairs for the National Nuclear Security Administration. What this means is that he works in the part of the Energy Department that develops, tests, and keeps safe America's nuclear weapons stockpile. So I would say Charles Moran, Mr. Moran's an important guy. But that's not why administration officials kept approaching his armchair to schmooze, or why some of the cabinet secretaries at the Ned that night seemed to be so chummy with him. Mr. Moran, 44, is the leader of a new power tribe in the Capitol, the gay men of the Trump administration. These are the A-gays. They're mostly out. They're proud to work for President Trump, and they have big jobs inside or alongside this administration. They wield influence all over town, from the Pentagon to the State Department to the White House to the Kennedy Center. We're like Visa, Mr. Moran said, everywhere you want to be. He sipped a dirty vodka martini and surveyed the room. Two Republican men waved at him from across the club. Both gay, he explained. This was also true of the middle. I thought you'd get a kick out of this.
That wasn't Jack Campbell.
Yep. That's immediately who I was thinking of when I started reading this.
Oh,
and half the time it wouldn't even be true because he's gay. And I'm like, I don't think that's
so funny.
Just from looking at him. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Anyway, so he waves at two from across the club, both gay, he explained. Then this was also true of the middle-aged Trump appointee who ambled over a moment later to catch up, but apparently not so of the young-looking White House aide who approached a few minutes later after that. Straight as an arrow, Mr. Moran said as the aide walked away. He laughed and added, I hang out with my straights just as easily as I hang out with my gays. The most powerful out gay man in the Trump administration is Mr. Bessent, the Treasury Secretary. There are a handful of others in the Treasury Department. Other A gays include Tony Fabrizio, the president's longtime pollster, Trenton Morse, a departing deputy assistant to the president, Richard Grinnell, who was put in charge of the Kennedy Center, and Jacob Hellberg, an undersecretary of state. These are just some. There are lots of other lesser-known men who make up the tribe. They're overwhelmingly white and tend to have a certain kind of look. Close-cropped haircuts, window-pane suits, golf shorts. They're not the type to be telling anyone their pronouns or using the word queer. And they aren't the least bit offended that the leader of their party continues to stoke, and again, I'm reading the New York Times here, moral panic about transgender people. This piece was written before the shooting, by the way. They're gay, but they're still Republicans. Mr. Moran knows a lot of them because he's been on the Trump train, as he puts it, from the beginning. In 2015, back when the Republican establishment was still trying to thwart Mr. Trump, Mr. Moran said that he and some other gay Republicans he knew became intrigued by the brash New Yorker's history of saying nice things about gay rights. These men had experienced homophobia from their fellow Republicans at one point or another, so they saw Mr. Trump's ascendance as something new, especially after the 2016 Republican National Convention when Peter Thiel was given a primetime speaking slot and used it to endorse Mr. Trump, saying, "I am proud to be gay. I am proud to be a Republican, but most of all, I am proud to be an American." Mr. Moran was in the front row when that happened. He recalled bracing for boos or a walkout. Instead, there was a big applause. He ended up helping out on all three of Mr. Trump's campaigns. Along the way, he met the various members of the Trump family, all of whom treated him with a respect that couldn't always be expected from Republican power brokers of the past, he said. There were some gay appointees during the first Trump administration, but it wasn't like now. Mr. Trump initially arrived in Washington as a true outsider. He had to draw from the disparate parts of the old GOP he had vanquished in order to staff his government. This time around, he has his own establishment. And it turns out that the MAGA establishment has a lot more openly gay men than the Republican establishment that came before it. In 2019, Mr. Moran took over Log Cabin Republicans, a gay Republican group, aligning it fully with the MAGA movement and increasing its ranks. He stepped down in January after nearly 5 years, hoping he would be rewarded with a job in the incoming administration, though he didn't expect it would involve nukes. Although he is now very busy learning the inner workings of the National Nuclear Security Administration, he said he felt a certain responsibility to continue looking after the quote-unquote community of gay MAGA Republicans he spent nearly a decade cultivating. He keeps a spreadsheet with dozens of names and titles of other gay compatriots working inside the administration. "I love it when I find out there's somebody new," he said. Well, of course. Part of the A gays' power comes from the fact that they mostly stick together. Even within the bureaucracy is overwhelming, Mr. Moran said. "I love having this community as a resource. Back in the day, these groups had to be closed off and hidden, but now we use it as a tool." Just the other day, he recalled a gay acquaintance of his was trying to figure out who in the government could help him get something done for his boss. He called and was like, "Hey, do we have somebody at such and such agency?" They had somebody. Now you're getting into like the whole conspiracy stuff.
Do we have somebody? Yeah, we got somebody over there.
But there's a kind of paradox about these men's existence in Washington. They live in the gayest city in America, which is also pretty much the most Trump-hating city in America. Of course, that's Washington, D.C. The gay men who work for Trump here are keenly aware that they are in hostile territory, surrounded by other gay men who consider them self-deluded traitors or worse. At gay bars around the town or on dating apps, they are either iced out or confronted about the things this president has said or done. He cut AIDS relief around the world and HIV vaccine research and funding for LGBTQ suicide prevention services. He called drag shows anti-American. His defense secretary announced during Pride Month that the Navy vessel named after Harvey Milk would be renamed. Perhaps most worrying for many gay people is how conservative the Supreme Court has become, thanks to Mr. Trump. Could same-sex marriage go the way of Roe? It's not out of the question. Gay Trump appointees interviewed for this article, some of whom said they weren't authorized to speak on the record, dismissed such opprobrium as overheated liberal whining. They argue that the battle for gay rights has basically been won, and that there has never been a Republican as friendly to the gays as Donald J. Trump. Aren't they themselves proof that this is so? They ask. And like, that's just part of it. Like, could keep going, but there's a whole other like 1,500 words, so I'm not going to continue down the road. But it's interesting the angle the Times is always taking on this, and I knew you would relate, having spent some time with Mr. Campbell that it's kind of like, obviously there are gay people in the Republican Party. What the hell are you talking about?
I liked how he said there's more openly gay people seemingly in the Trump administration.
Mm-hmm.
And the cabal is real, and the old Democrat, the old Republican establishment, probably as many. They're probably just more closeted and not as out, or it's not as receptive.
True. Just I got a kind of a kick out of it.
Yeah, I could totally hear Jack say it. I mean, how many times have you been sitting at a table with him and he'd look over and just be like, "That guy's gay."
Mm-hmm. I'm like, I don't know. How do you know?
I just know.
Yeah.
I miss that dude, man.
No, and I appreciate it because I get tired of the monopoly on like identity groups. And it's like, no, people have different inclinations in all sorts of different ways. And the idea that based off that one thing, you can tag them as a Republican or a Democrat, maybe as a general heuristic, general kind of rule of thumb. But generally speaking, no, you're probably going to go wrong about that.
You're probably going to make a gross statement if you do something like that. Quick question, who was it that supposedly gave Musk the black eye a while back? Who did he get into?
Besant.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That just tickles me for some reason. I think that's hilarious.
Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, I think this is Urbanite.
Hey, Urbanite, how you doing?
Hey, I'm not going to deviate from this subject too bad, but isn't this Jack? Didn't he die like around this time last couple of years ago?
It's been what, about 4, 5?
In a few years.
Around like September or
yes.
something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the question I was going to ask is, what is the deal on the 600,000 Chinese students Trump is using as a bargaining chip with the Chinese right now to let them into the States? How does that help us in any way?
It is a weird bargaining chip too.
Yeah, and like I think it's the statements that Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, has made is that like 15% of the university population are Chinese students, and that it would be a huge hit to the university system. And then I'm partly like,
oh yeah, I'm sure they don't like giving up the money, because if you can imagine what out-of-state tuition costs, imagine what out-of-country tuition costs. So yeah, I'm sure they do, but we need to let them learn how to live without the money, because that's stupid to bring in a freaking army. I mean, I don't even know if the army's 600,000 men, and we know these are going to be college military-age people.
Sure, and it's well known there is espionage being done by Chinese nationals, especially spending time over here. The issue is also, I think, the university system has become much too reliant on free teaching assistants who are Chinese, because the Chinese will pay full freight. So you don't have to pay these folks to essentially be your research people. And so like a lot of these folks, kind of like that. It's like, oh, we can handle this, we can handle that. Like we've been not only offshoring, we've been relying on China to solve a lot of our problems since the 90s. And
but haven't we proven from the visas that don't get monitored that the universities are horrible at keeping up with the people when they come over here?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I know of a case out of Troy State that I know personally where the kid came over on a tennis scholarship and stayed 10 damn years. The only reason he went home was because 9/11 happened, and he had a choice between staying here forever and possibly getting caught, or not ever being able to go home again because his credentials said it expired. He couldn't get a visa anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, and Troy State showed him. Troy didn't keep up with him at all. 10 freaking years in this country.
That's crazy.
Absolutely. And he wasn't the only one. He's the only one I knew, but he wasn't the only one who did that.
Yeah, and I'm kind of at a loss for words because it seems this policy seems out of character for the Trump administration.
Well, I know it's a bargaining chip, but I just wonder if it's a wise bargaining chip. It's a serious carrot, because you and I both know the Chinese students are in all the major research universities. You just look around here in Alabama. They're loaded. I think Auburn had almost 2,000 or 3,000, didn't they, at one point? Or was it 2,000 or 3,000 in the state of Alabama? I know it was a number like in the thousands that was in the state of Alabama. I thought Auburn and Alabama had the birth of them.
I don't know. I can't speak.
Don't know off the top of my head, man.
But it was more than 5. Let's put it. It was more than 5 exchange students in both colleges. It was in the hundreds, and that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, the so-called Confucius centers, these sorts of things. Yeah.
All right. Well, if I'm out of place in that opinion,
no, I don't think you are.
I'm out of place.
I think there are a lot of people.
I don't see the value.
There are a lot of people who voted for Trump who don't like this decision, even the bargaining chip.
But the thing is, there are smart people all over the world, and it's time we start picking what kind of smart people we want to bring to this country.
True. Well said. Appreciate it, Reverend.
Joey, I really hope that they take a chance to look at some of these higher institutions of learning, especially the ones that keep using different programs, rebranded this DEI stuff, write them out of the budget. Like the feds back in the day passed the speed limit law. Certain states didn't want to apply. They cut off transportation funding. If some of these institutions don't want to comply with the DEI stuff, cut the funding. I bet you they start doing a better job of, doing what they're supposed to then.
Yeah.
Or if we tie some of the funding into monitoring how their students with these visas are kind of tracked and monitored, I bet they start doing a better job then.
Absolutely.
You hit somebody in the pocketbook and they'll perk up.
Well, we have to hit this break. First, this part of the program brought to you by Josh and the writers there at Dylan Rings. And by the way, Leslie continues to get better. Continue praying for the writers after Leslie's stroke, but she is progressing in a great way. But if you are looking for any and all of your jewelry needs to be met, could be repair work, could be clean it up with a spa treatment, favorite piece of jewelry, could be you're looking to buy from that great inventory, or you're looking for some custom design work. They've got all of that there at Dylan Rings. And what am I forgetting? Oh, appraisals. Hey, gentlemen, they do watch repairs, watch battery replacements, like anything. They'll buy old jewelry off you that you just got laying around that you're never going to use, like gold, platinum, silver, old stuff. Take it by.
You got to lean into that artist more, man. I stopped by and saw him yesterday. I mean, that guy's got more talent in his pinky than I do my entire body.
So you'll check him out today. That's again Dylan Rings there at 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell them that Joey and Byron, the Souls on the Radio, sent you.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. So far this year, over 2,600 homes have sold and closed in the River region. 55% of these homes sold in 60 days or less, and sellers are receiving close to 98% of listed price. Over the last year, average prices in the River region have increased over 10% from last year. We do have more inventory now to show buyers before they purchase. There are homes in all price ranges available for buyers interested in moving. As a seller, it's a great time to sell through a realtor and gain access to many buyers, not just one or two. If you are a buyer, having more homes to pick from give you better choices before you buy. Our market is now more balanced between a buyer and seller market than we've seen since 2019. Get the facts, see the inventory, get a great local lender to help you, and an agent that's going to look after your interests. For all the facts, call Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group, 221-2883 or 551-0225.
This is David Ernest from the Health and Wealth Show. We like to cut up and have fun, maybe poke a little fun at some politicians, but we don't take ourselves too seriously. One thing we do take seriously is your personal finances and your plans for retirement. You can tell by listening, we're a little different. Yeah, we like to have a good time on the radio, but we're dead serious about your financial future and helping you achieve your goals. At Ernest Financial, we're committed to giving you the attention you need. We don't treat you like a number. You're way more important to us. At Ernest Financial, it's about helping you today and preparing you for tomorrow. People call us who are on the verge of retirement, and they know they need a plan for the future. No matter where you are in life, Ernest Financial will help guide your every step towards retirement. Give us a call and let us show you what our individual customer attention can do for your future.
Concerned about your retirement? Call David Ernest toll-free at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
Hey guys, this is Todd Clark with River Region Contracting, your premier roofing contractor in Central Alabama. So remember the name, River Region Contracting, for all your roofing needs. We're not affiliated with any other roofing company in the River region. We've been in the roofing business since 2005. We don't have to buy our leads, and we don't have to knock on doors when the storms come around. We have thousands of satisfied customers throughout Central Alabama. So call us at 334-356-8635. That's 334-356-8635.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACB.
Let's go right to the and talk to Ray Bowles from Bradville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
I'm a little sleepy. How about you?
Sleepy?
So what is the ideal nap?
An ideal nap?
Yeah, for you. Me, it's 15 minutes.
Yeah, have to be a cat nap like Napoleon.
If it's over 15 minutes, it wrecks my day. And so
Yeah, get groggy.
today.
Right.
Yeah, and to deliver a floor with Des, and I let him drive the truck, and I kick back, and next thing I know, I slept for 40 minutes, and I've been sleepy ever since.
Dang. You hit that deep sleep cycle, and you still haven't gotten out of it fully.
Oh man! I said, "Did I snore?" He said, "It sounded you must have been somewhere good." I have not recovered, so yeah, my ad's going to be a little slow today, guys. If y'all need a floor, call us 285-8117. We've got all these major deals going on, tons of LVP in stock, got the best prices around. If you can't pick it up and you don't have a way to get your house, we'll help you on the delivery. We're here for you every step of the way. Call us 285-8117.
Again, that number, 285-8117. When you call them up, be sure to say, "Hey, I heard Sleepy Ray on the radio with Joey."
Tonight, when I get ready for bed, I won't be sleepy. I'll be wired.
I know. It's
and then
always
we going, "Hey, Angie, are you awake? Hey, Angie, are you awake?" And she's going to be faking it. No, I'm not awake.
Well, good luck.
Good luck to Angie tonight. Y'all have a great day.
You too, Ray. Got to get out of here. Happy Hour with Greg Budell and Pamela. They're next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Officials